Press Start Podcast.
Yes.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. And this is the third annual Press Start Game Awards. Welcome, everybody. This week we are joined by our special guest, Inhuman Line. So, welcome to the show, brother.
You
And of
messed
course,
that up.
just-
Changed my name,
oh, yeah.
but I'll let it slide. Love y'all. Happy to be here, man.
You're still inhuman to me.
Hold up.
And of course, I got my co-host Roger, aka Lunatic Oblivion. What's going on, bro?
Hey man, I changed my name. It's Jeff now.
It's Jeff. My name is Jeff. You
No.
got it.
My name is Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Yeah, man.
No,
What?
it's going well, dude. That new COD boss for zombies, dude. Actually kind of fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's been a lot of fun. Zombies, man, has been doing really well. I mean, overall, I'm enjoying Black Ops 7, which is crazy for me to say. 6 Prestige already. Multiplayer has been fun. Playing the fuck out of it. Zombies is fun.
It's what I've been saying for years now. We need competitors. You've been saying it as well. Like
Mhm.
without actual competition in the field, like we can see how quickly monopolies gain traction, and nothing happens. There's no reason, no incentive
Bro,
to make a better game. But dude,
how I know it's
this is
so
it.
real right now is that Black Ops 7 has made changes to 2 different maps, like completely changed the layout of the map. And I was like, I have not seen this in a Call of Duty game. I don't think ever. I've been asking for a layout change in plenty of maps throughout the years, and they never even thought about it. But all of a sudden, like you said, we have competition. They got to make people happy. Oh fuck, this map is bad. Let's make this change, and now the fucking map is good. Like I'm just like, yo, some of the changes, I'm like, yo, this is badass. Like, what the fuck?
They've
Like,
done layout
Mhm.
changes, and even in like things like hardpoint, they've even changed hardpoints. Like they're doing a lot right now. They said we're trying to please everyone and anyone right now.
Yeah,
I love it.
and they're doing great, man. Like the amount of double
shouts
XP weekends we've been having. The battle pass just rolled out with season 1. That's been pretty cool to kind of get through the
Weekly
new
dev
guns.
updates
Yeah,
too.
the weekly dev
Like-
updates has been pretty badass. Like they're doing everything that they're supposed to. Like this is the Call of Duty game that we've been wanting for a while, minus the campaign because the campaign has got awful. I haven't touched it yet, but I'll get to it eventually. But yeah, so they have a lot to go on that. That's good that they changed the map. Hell yeah, it was exposure was one of them. They changed towards one of the spawn points. There's a different access point to kind of navigate through the center of the map. And in Toshin, which is like that Japanese map with like the train through the center of it, they made it so like you can get to the upper level, which was like pretty much like a non like important part of the map. Like the map, you would never go up there ever. Now there's so much fucking combat that goes up there, and it gives you like a different access point to navigate the map, and it flows a lot better. So it's definitely good to see that they're making changes. But yeah, zombies, man, so much fucking fun, dude. So much fun. But nonetheless, we can sit here and talk about Call of Duty. This has been one hell of a year for gaming, and honestly, this is actually one of our biggest award shows too. I think we got 18 or 16 awards to give out tonight. We kind of went over the nominations last week, but yeah, we're gonna kind of just dive right into this. We're not gonna really talk about much about gaming news until next week. Next week will be the last episode of the year, so be on the lookout for that. But nonetheless, we can just dive right into it. Did you guys want to talk about any games that you guys played throughout the years before we moved into the awards at all, or just kind of just dive right into it?
Let's dive right in.
Cool. All right, man. So I'm going to bring up the show here. Welcome again to the Press Start Game Awards 2025. So this is the third year running. It keeps getting bigger and better, man, because like we keep changing some of the categories, adding some new categories. We kind of do things our own way. And we kind of like base it off a little bit off of the official Game Awards, and like some changes that they need to make. We've done it ourselves. Like removing remakes, remasters, and DLCs from the game of the year had to happen, and we gave them their own categories: best DLC, best remake, remaster category. Those are going to be 2 prime candidates, and the reason being is like DLC, it's a addition to the game that's already been out. It already had its chance. Same thing with remakes and remasters. That story has already come and gone. It already had a chance for Game of the Year. It does not get another opportunity, no matter what you did to change the game or make it better and stuff like that. Already lost out on that, but Yeah, man. So got a bunch of categories, different categories as well. We don't really dive too much into the esports realm, like best esports person, best team, best esports game, stuff like that. We're not really big into that, but we love games. So nonetheless, without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to the first award of the evening. Kicking off to one of I know me and Inhumans, what's one of our favorite categories of the show, and it's best music. Like Roger, we talked about how important the music was in games last week, but we had a really solid list here with Expedition 33, Hades, Death Stranding 2, Hollow Knight Silk
Yep.
Song, Liza P Overture, which is the DLC from Liza P, and of course Ghost of Yotai, which I just beat yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. Man, that was a beautiful fucking game, but man, this one was really hard to come down to a winner. In my eyes, there were three ones that were leading the chase here, but I'll kick it to you, Inhuman, first before we announce the winner. Just like, what's your thoughts on these 6 games in this category, and just like the impact of the music for them as well?
Um, I really feel as though like regardless of um how should you say this? Some games come in with big orchestras. Some people like to just keep it some old school stuff. Depending on how you go with it, can really shape or change the mood of either a boss battle, you walking down a corridor, or however it is. Some people just choose to do music. Some people add lyrics, add some vocals in there. It can completely change the feel. All these games that we have nominated for it truly did put their best foot forward, stood out, and they all deserve to be in here. And I don't feel as though I could kind of knock any of these games off the list to add another one in. They all deserve to be here.
Oh yeah. And what about you, Roger?
I think there's not much more we can say that we haven't said last week. Is
Mhm.
it's the importance of like really building an experience. Video gaming is much more than just a way to spend your time, but it's everything involved. Like, video games are just a movie that has some interaction with you. It's a choose your own adventure sometimes of a movie, and you can never not talk about a movie and its sound design or the way it handles the way it invokes your emotions. And sound design is a huge part of video games, and the music itself is a separate category from just sound in general as well. Like the way you orchestrate a tune, whether it be, you could always just throw some random sounds in there, but something that truly tells you what you need to feel in that moment is super important, I think, when it comes to designing any sort of digital media. And I think one game for me this year clearly stood above the rest, and it was also not just the fact that like music was in the game or that they had good songs at every point in the game, but that like the music was a part of the story as well. Like the characters themselves talked about the music. They themselves played the music that you were listening to. It helped to deepen the way you look at these characters and the way you feel about them.
Oh, couldn't said it any better than that. Yeah, music, man, just drives emotion, connection, and just deepens the storytelling within the video game. And I think we're all safe to say that there was one game above all, and it's probably going to win a lot of awards tonight. But the winner for best music for the Press Start Game Awards of 2025 is Expedition 33. Um, without a doubt, man. Like I talked about it last week's show, how this game made me create a fucking video game soundtrack playlist on my fucking phone, and this was the first one I added to it, and then I started to build it with Liza P, Ghost of Yotai, and a ton of other games too. And I'm just like, man, when a game really makes you fucking want to listen to their shit outside of playing a game, that has to mean something. But then like I was
It,
just talking about like how the storytelling throughout Expedition 33 from start to finish, on how like the beginning was very soft and elegant, but then like it started to get like chaotic and intense by the end of the game. Like it really, you could see the up and down roller coaster that you kind of go through with the music. So yeah, Expedition
it,
33, shout out to them for that.
the music was such a crucial part, from going around the maps and finding your records to the fact that like at every time you camped, you sat there and you played music with the different story members. Like it was such a crucial part of it. And not only that, like for those who listened to the music as it went, like the music itself gave you that sense of urgency. The game started low, somber, sad. You watched as those around you died. You listened to their the tunes of their death. But as the game went on, it sped up. It became more chaotic, more emotion invoking. The tempo rose. It was because you yourself were feeling like the game had to move, and you weren't just going off to try like the last group did, but you are actually going to finish this fight.
Any thoughts on the winner there, Paul?
Ah,
I
Eternity.
couldn't have picked. Listen, man, I not only became obsessed with this game, it brought me back to turn-based games, and the music made me. It brought me back to how like Lies of P was when
Mhm.
Lies of P first dropped. Like when you just play a game and the music itself just is like, no, I'm just gonna, go back to the crap hotel, just hit the music up and just, play some music and just chill while I'm writing. Like
Mhm.
it truly brings a different feeling when the game or when the music itself within the game just makes you say, you know what? I kind of want to take a break from the game and just listen to the music. It's kind of like, when they tell you like, hey, like, stop and like smell the roses. Like, like
Mhm.
just relax. This is one of those moments within the game where it's like you can actually kind of pull yourself back away from enjoying a great game with an amazing story and a great adventure and great characters and just be like, you know what? Let me just focus and hone in on this one aspect. Truly deserved, great game, and congratulations.
Hell yeah, man. So yeah, there we have it. We had best music goes to Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Can't wait to see the future of this IP for sure. But let's go ahead and check out our next category here, which is best sound. This is the other part of the audio for video games. A little bit different compared to the music. Sound can tell or just enhance the experience that you're playing in different aspects, whether it's understanding like there's someone running next to you or there's a hidden treasure chest over there that you can hear some like faint music playing, or from Ghost of Yotai, like just the wind blowing, and just the elegance of that game. But yeah, man, this was another really tough category here to kind of go with the winner. But yeah, Roger, I'm gonna kick it to you here with the sound. I know you're big on sound.
So for me, sound is a huge part of the game design. We were jokingly actually talking to Goth John the other day, and while we were playing the new Zombies map, and he talked about how like sound design is an important part of the game because like 3D sound is one of the things that make or break a game. Like he was playing Escape from Tarkov, and the fact that like a game just doesn't recognize whether somebody is right next to you or above you on a floor, like on the floor above you, you just don't know because the sound design is so poor in some of these games. Like
Mhm.
you need to be able to feel like it's there. You need to be able to, when they say open your mind's eye to see something, like when you hear it, being able to literally turn and see the sound where it's coming from because you actually hear it with your headphones on, I think is such an important part of the way gaming works. Like for example, in Call of Duty right now in Black Ops 7 with the zombies map, hearing the actual smoke, the actual
The steam from the pipes.
the steam from the
Hmm.
from the organ, the fact that you can hear it in 3 dimensions is such a huge part of the game. Like the fact that you can hear it off in the corner over here but not over there, like to put yourself in that moment, to put yourself in the place. Like I can't tell you what it sounds like to stand in war and be shot at by bombs, but like Battlefield this year, I felt like when we were trying to surmount like the lines of battle and climb to a site, the fact you could hear rockets hitting next to you, planes flying overhead, like you could hear everything around you at all times, and it put you in that game. You felt like you were there. That's when a game does a job well done, is when you feel like you've now escaped yourself and ascended to a point of just pure
Immersion.
like involvement,
Yeah.
immersion.
Yeah. What about you, Eternity?
I don't know if I can add more to that. But yeah, I feel like you're right. When you're playing a game, especially like a Battlefield, where a jet's literally flying overhead, and you can hear as it's going away, and you're not even facing it, it's behind you. You hear it go overhead, and you're like, okay, it's going further, further, further. Now I'm safe to get up off the ground where I was hiding at and run. Like,
Mhm.
I'm hiding in a dead body, and they're let me go run. Or like just hearing the sound of like jumping off of something, and when your boots hit the ground, you hear your backpack just kind of shuffle a little. It
Mhm.
it's the little things in the
Yep.
games. And that's for like everything within like this category. They did truly do a good job within sound design, and I almost feel as though sometimes it's a lost art.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that all these companies are doing what oh my god, I forget what Google had for their AI thing, that you could just create sounds and stuff for their AI now. It's not Gemini, it's something else. And sorry if I activated anybody's phone. But it's like this sound design is such a crucial thing, and it's just sometimes the little things that just make it all the better. Whether makes you feel more immersive within fear itself of like someone's close to me, or just something
Someone's
just
about to fucking kill me, man.
yeah, or it's like that last minute where the sound design is so good that you can't even hear him creeping up, but the person behind you gets a little too excited and takes one step too loud, and you're like, "Oh shit!" and you still die. Like little
Mhm.
things like that. Like sound design is extremely important. I feel as though it's becoming a lost art, whereas there people are just trying to, oh, what else could we add to the gameplay? Sound is extremely, extremely important. So
Like
shout out to all those who focus on it.
it's that whole extra layer of the immersion of the gameplay of the skill it takes to play some of these games sometimes. When you think about how like we always have like visual cues for things that are going to happen within a video game, but you tend to forget about the auditory cues sometimes. The
Mhm.
fact that like you may not see the boss or the enemy or the thing you're doing wind up and attack, but you hear a sound and you know in that moment you need to turn and you need to fight. Like
Yep.
Black Ops actually is doing it right now with its zombies. It's doing a really good job of making those sound effects be a cue for what is happening next, what is going to come. You're defending a portal and the boss is throwing drones at it to destroy it, and every time a drone spawns you hear a sound effect, so you know on that trigger. World of Warcraft, used to do it a lot, still does it, but is one of the first pioneers where you're in a boss fight and there's an audio cue. Nothing
Mhm.
else, just an audio cue. And at that moment, you need to prepare to do an action, something to fight that boss. And like,
Mhm. I
it just
remember when
feels
we
like some
ran into
games are
that when
missing
we
it.
were playing Ascension in that like battle run or whatever, and that one boss would do like that instant kill move. Like if you don't get behind cover, there's that small
Mhm.
audio cue that kind of goes off. That you got to get it behind it or you're gonna die. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know
I definitely get it.
FromSoft is like extremely notorious for that nonsense. Where like you'll just be walking up a staircase and you might hear like a little twig break and you're like, oh, what's that? Now there's a boulder coming after you downstairs. Like little things like that. Or you walk into a room and you see a bookshelf and you're like, why is there a bookshelf there? And you hear something groaning and you're like, whatever. You walk by the bookshelf and now it's the guy with an axe. Like it's just, like sound
Ah,
design and things like that. You have to love it. Like
Yeah.
you
my
have to.
favorite is in horror games where,
Mhm.
like, in that moment, like, I was playing Me Side this year, and that was the sort of spiritual successor to Doki Doki Literature Club. And there were parts in the game they were like, don't turn around, and you're like, fuck. And then you walk into a room and you hear behind you, and you're like,
Yep. I think sound design in horror games is like one of the most crucial like parts of a horror game, like especially like Silent Hill F. Like just the ambience of the environment of how it sounds really fucking creepy, and you don't know what's going off in the distance or what's behind you and stuff like that. It definitely adds to the whole thrilling of the oh shit moment, for sure. And even like you were talking about like how there's audio cues when someone's about to attack, like that happened a lot in Ghosts of Yotai. Like if you're in the middle of like a katana battle, but there's some archers nearby or guys that have muskets, you can hear them when they're about to shoot you or launch their bow at you. Like they either yell or you can hear the gun fucking click, and you're like, I gotta dodge, or you're getting fucked up. Like it's very fucking important. Sometimes I like I literally forgot about the audio cue, and I'm just like trying to swing like hack, and I get fucked up, and I'm like, damn it, I like missed it. I wasn't even paying attention. But on top of that, like they would give you an audio and a visual cue if they were like within your visuals. They would like blink or like flash real quick with like a white light. But yeah, sound is very very fucking important. But without further ado, let's go ahead and announce the winner of Best Sound of for the Press Start Game Awards of 2025, and we have none other than Battlefield 6. Shout out to EA here with this one. This has been a really phenomenal experience playing Battlefield 6. From you guys were talking about tanks or jets flying over you. How about when tanks fly over you? I've had that one time, and then that's a hell of a fucking experience. But yeah, man, just the crucial like being able to hear like when people are either upstairs, downstairs, running next to you, and like hearing your footsteps, your teammates' footsteps, and identifying the difference between teammate and enemy is also like you. There's a slight difference between the two, and it's just like it's really important, honestly. And then just the gun sounds and like you guys were saying, like bullets hitting the walls, rockets hitting you, helicopters, tanks, jets, like it all plays a factor into it. But yeah, you guys have any comments on the winner of best sound this year?
Um, you're right on the whole Battlefield thing, man. When you can literally audibly hear somebody when they're running over like someone a dead body and like they're picking up ammo and you can hear the swipe of the ammo getting picked up, like it's like the little things like that. Like it just sounds cool. It's little added things and stuff. Shout out to the winner, well deserved. It's a great comeback. Um, so yeah,
It lit a fire
congratulations.
in the fucking industry. That's all I'm saying.
It sure did. And man, boy, did it, because like Call of Duty needed a fire lit under their ass because they have been doing absolutely nothing for many, many
Yep.
years. But yeah, Battlefield's here, Arc Raiders is here, Marvel Rivals is here. Like they may not be a direct similarity in style of a game, but it's still a shooter, and like you have to pick where you're going to be putting your time into for shooters. Like me,
Everyone's got a battle pass.
like Paul or
Yep.
Paul, we were talking about how like you have barely touched Black Ops 7. You may watch a lot of Black Ops 7, but you don't play it. You've been playing a
Yeah.
shit ton of Arc Raiders. So like all of your time right now has
Oh
been into
yeah.
that. And obviously like
Yeah.
Battlefield 6 had a lot of my time before Black Ops 7 came out. And I do got to get back to Battlefield 6 because that I prefer that game, but it's like it's two different play styles. Like Battlefield is like there's a lot going on. It may not seem as chaotic, but there's just like a different type of chaotic. Where like in Call of Duty, like it's run and gun, adrenaline fueled. Like you have to be moving at all times, and you have
It's
to
a
learn the
team
maps.
sport versus a solo sport, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, none for sure. But yeah, again, shout out to Battlefield 6 here on winning the best sound of the Press Start Game Awards of 2025. So let's go ahead and move on to the next category here. Get that pulled up. We got best narrative. This is a category that we did throw in right before the show of last week. But we just definitely wanted to highlight just the storytelling of a game that is outside of like obviously the sound and the music. We were talking about how that plays a huge factor into storytelling, but like storytelling can be told in several different aspects, whether it's episodic like Dispatch here, or just through cooperative play with Split Fiction, to Ghost of Yotai playing the whole like you're playing in current time, but then you can go in the past and see how things played out when you were a kid and stuff like that. To Expedition 33 telling a story through different means of art, whether it was music, painting, like any different types of art, like how that is being told, and just like Avowed, just being able to like build your own story and you basically tell your own story based on your decision making within that game and building your character into the who you want it to be. There's just different ways of telling a story, but Roger, I'm gonna kick it to you here. I know how much story is to you. You're the one that wanted to create this category this year. But yeah, man, what's your thoughts on the 5 games here that we have for best narrative?
I think the biggest thing that it felt weird to not really discuss like the storytelling of a game because we talked about so much over the past 2 years, I think, really, is
Mhm.
just how much like single player games are not gone and they will never be gone. They like most people still prefer to play single player games. We talked about polls where people were like, yeah, single player games, that's what I play. And like that's where you're gonna find these narratives. You're not gonna find a narrative sitting inside of a Call of Duty lobby, unless the narrative is your mom getting fucked. But that's beside the point. Like, we play these games because we want to experience something. We want to be told a story, and I think this year there's a game that definitely deserved some recognition for the storytelling it did, and I didn't think it fit well within our show to not have a category in which we can recognize them.
Mhm.
So I'm excited that we got to this year add narrative, and I hope everyone agrees with me that the winner may not have had the best sound or the best music or been the game of the year, but like for me, I thought it it was on par with Expedition in terms of storytelling.
Hell yeah. What about you, and Human? What's your thoughts on the narrative category in these 5 games that had a running in for it?
I think narrative is extremely important to have its own separate category because like you said the narrative could be told in many different ways. Yes, it could be episodic, such as a dispatch and everything, or it could just be a straight up straightforward, just narrative driven experience. Or it could be a game that in which narratives is not necessarily in front of you, like Souls-like games. There may
Mhm.
be a ton of story within the games and everything, but they're told through either objects or visual narratives and everything. There might be a broken pot here and everything, but that pot might be from a different game, and then you could grab the story there. The ladder maker from Dark Souls 2 is dead in Dark Souls 3. Finally, someone caught up to him for trying to jip us for so much money. Now he's dead. Like the narrative's gonna be told in many, many different ways and stuff. And depending on how the game creators decide to do that, and these developers decide to push it forward, obviously some may tell it in better ways, some may not. And the best part about narrative is that it doesn't need to be a AAA experience to have an amazing narrative. It doesn't need to have shining bright lights, this, and a third, all this extra stuff to be a great narrative. You can
Mhm.
have some pixelated small game that can be just like amazing story, and sometimes they may not get as much light as the big game, the next Assassin's Creed or something like that, and everything. And you don't
Mhm.
have to have Ubisoft money or EA money to be able to still push forward a great narrative. So having its own
I
separate
mean,
section.
I mean, they have Ubisoft and EA money, and they still don't have good narratives.
Exactly. And now we have Expedition. Thank you, Ubisoft. So thank you all for that and everything. But yes, having this as a separate category is both a blessing and also a gift to both everyone who loves narratives and also to the developers that actually get a chance to kind of, I guess, gloat about how good they did. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to come together and put this category together for best narrative. It's such an important part of gaming, and it's more important to me now in my recent let's just say 5 years than it ever has been, because before then I was strictly like multiplayer, competitive. Like I couldn't care less about story games. Like I would play some here and there, but story really matters to me now, and like playing a lot of these games here, since I played 3 out of these 5 and beat them. I would love to play through the other 2 and check out these narratives. But I think we can all agree that there's one that is just a juggernaut this year. I think it's going to be the outlier. Like you were saying, like there's going to be games that each year that don't have to be so big and bright and shiny, but this one did. Like it fucking rocked the gaming industry to its core. And so the best narrative of 2025 Press Star Game Awards goes to none other than Expedition 33. This story from start to finish was absolutely incredible. Like from the opening scene of them painting the picture and watching everybody just fucking Thanos snapped, evaporate basically right before your eyes. My jaw fucking hit the fucking floor. And then by the end of the story and what transpires and when I don't really want to spoil it because it's still obviously a relatively new game here, but it's just like holy shit. And then like when it gets to the very end of the game and you just see the scale of the story being told within the game through different means of art, it's just mind blowing to think that this indie developer was able to put together this game. Obviously, they've had hundreds of developers help them through this, whether it was asking questions or coming in to aid in certain aspects of the game. But this was still it started off as a 33-man team, yes, but obviously they've had hundreds of people help make this game. But yeah, shout out to the winners here. Roger, what's your thoughts? Because I know this was one of your favorite games, obviously, of the year as well.
Double A isn't dead, my friend. And like I love talking about these things, these narrative games, like they're a book sometimes, because you kind of have to just sit there and look at what the author meant for you maybe to find, and whether or not there was a clear like story path reason why you got to the conclusion you did. Maybe the author intended it, maybe they didn't. But like one of my favorite parts was the fact that like you started in the middle of this story. Like this has been going on for 60 years or whatever. Was 100 expeditions, so 67 expeditions. And the fact that they talk about and they tell the story of all these expeditions, not through like the fact that you found the story as you went, and that's how you were supposed to find it. Like you were supposed to, each expedition was to make the next expedition better. They built paths, they built places to climb, they built ways through the maps. Like they spent their entire lives in specific parts of the map trying to make sure the next expedition that hit that location didn't struggle like they did. And I think it's just so cool how the story was told. And then for them to just say, well, this isn't even real. Like what you're playing is almost a game in a game, and you're like, what? And the fact that you get to decide the ending, and like to hear each person's choice at the ending, and how everyone had a different choice that they wanted to live. Like I think it's vile, the other choice that people could have chosen, but there are people out there who said no, that felt right, like the right choice to me. It was one of those moments where it wasn't like good versus evil, but like worse versus worse. Like, there are no good answers. So which bad answer did you choose? And it's not like there was a good ending.
Yeah. What about you, Eternity? What's your thoughts on Expedition 33 and its narrative?
Oh God, well, in terms of its narrative, it is one of the best narrative experiences we've had, possibly this whole decade. I'd argue. Um, Actually, I wouldn't even argue. Say it definitely is one of the best narrative experiences we've had in this decade. It in terms of just like you said, dropping us into the middle of the story, and also like you said, Vic, as well, with just once that thing hits and you see go, they paint a new number and everybody just starts going. That had me. I said, "Oh, we in for a real one." Then you go ahead and get that cutscene about when y'all hop on the ship and y'all go across and y'all hit, y'all hit on the other side of the
Yep.
beach,
And
and I'm
everyone
like,
gets Thanos snapped again. You're like, all
I'm
right,
like,
well,
"Oh,
What the
we
fuck's
going
going on?"
like that?" I was like, "Oh, we on a trip for some real shit." Got you. So like the game itself just lets you know off rip bad things are going to happen and you're not in control if they happen or not. You are along for the ride. And when you do get in control, your choices are minute. Like you're not like it's not like oh, I got 17 different paths I can choose from. And if I no. Like you said, you are like a game within a game and you're like fucked. And it's just like uh, for those who have not played the game, please, you are robbing yourself from an amazing experience. The gameplay mechanics itself and everything, they took the whole turn-based, and they're not the first games to have interactive turn-based, but for a lot of people, when they think turn-based, they don't think the whole interactive turn-based nonsense and everything. They think OG Pokemon, I press, you press, and we just go back and forth and everything.
It's not
This
rock,
game,
paper, scissors.
Not at
yeah,
all.
yes. Now keep in mind, this also isn't like Knights of the Old Republic. I stack up my moves, and then if I want, I could just try to run away. This is not that either and everything. But regardless, you're robbing yourself from an experience if you don't go ahead and do this. Narrative is amazing, gameplay is amazing, music's amazing, visual, everything about this game is like top notch, and I can't wait to see what the hell happens later on.
Yeah, I honestly, if they let this IP go and they're just like we're done, like it just feels bad
Well,
because they
thankfully
left
they already
the
confirmed
ending.
it. They already confirmed it.
Yeah,
Like they're working on other entries or
we
content for
just
the game.
hope that they stick to it because other people have said they're working
Right.
on other entries and then they just drop it. It's an IP. I hope they continue. I hope they truly find the next game and it doesn't like also like shit the bed either.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, they could tell pretty
in the
much any of the expeditions that came before 33. Like, obviously, we know the outcome, like they died, but like that could be just like telling Halo Reach story again, in a sense, because like, I mean, if people didn't know the story of Reach, like by the time it gets to the end and what happens, it's just like you could tell the same thing. How did they get
I think
there?
that's kind of I think that's kind of like the beauty within the game is that like yeah they died, but
yeah.
like
How important they
you,
merely meant to like your first experience of Expedition
not
33. Like you
not
get to see
just
it.
that like just imagine like because of how fantastical the world of this game is and everything
Hmm.
they could be dead, but something else could be you just never know. Like I trust the writers to write what they're going to write, and sure, yes, they are technically dead, but
Right.
you never know.
But the thing is, there, like, I hate to. It's been almost a whole year now. Like the game released earlier this year, and honestly, I just gotta say the fact that this game is about a world within a world, and like the fact that no one is real and they're willing to just kill off characters. It just such good writing, and the greater idea of the world in general, I'm excited to explore.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So again, shout out to Claire Obscure Expedition 33 on winning Best Narrative of the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. So on to our next award here. Got our next category, and this was Best Action Game. And I didn't think this one was going to be that hard, but I did have to chime into our community to get a tiebreaker vote on this one. But we each had a pick here. Obviously, there was four of us making our votes on these games, and we had four separate votes. So we clearly liked games differently in this category. This was obviously a really tough one. We all played a bunch of different ones. We may not have played all of them. I want to say that I have played 3 out of the 6 games here, and I kind of have my take on them. But obviously, like we had like a good wide spectrum when it comes to these kind of games. Like we had the Metroidvania style game with Hollow Knight, Silk Song 2, Monster Hunter, um, Wilds, where that was more of like an open world. Like, let me go fuck this beast up and kind of handle that. Ninja Gaiden 4 kind of being more of like that linear path, but it could be like it was Souls like before Souls like. That's really what Ninja Gaiden was really known for. So like the incredible difficulty when you got to certain stages mounted to that. Then you had like the action pack of Doom. Doom is just always about chaos and fast paced action. Where like this one took like a step back to like I'm grounded. I'm a fucking tank, and I'm gonna roll through you. And that's how you really felt in that game. And then you have Wu Chang, like one of the hardest fucking games I've ever played. This is a true fucking Dark Souls game. I actually stopped playing it like a quarter of the way through, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to it. Just wasn't on my fucking
You
plate
just
to want
weren't
to
good
play it.
enough.
I just didn't want to put myself through an experience like that at the time. But nonetheless, Ghost of Yotai, I did recently beat that. Another masterpiece of a game, in my opinion. It started off a little bit rough, but once it started to focus in on its story and really what was going on, that's when it really got fucking good. So yeah, we had a breadth of different types of games here in the action category. But Eternity, what is your thoughts on these games here?
Well, I know some games we've waited. Some games on this list we waited longer than others. So shout out to Silk Song for finally getting dropped. There's some controversy with whether or not we were going to, enjoy Ninja Gaiden 4 with the new main character. Then you have some games that are just like you said, overly difficult, like Wu Chang. and then you of course you have your Ghosts of Yote, which we've waited for at least another entry within the series. I thought we were gonna get a sequel, continuing with the main character from the first one, but we didn't, and that's fine. It was a great game. Monster Hunter, we already know what we're expecting to get with that. It's so interesting to see just like how vast action games really can be. Because I do think that a lot of people you forget with like a Wu Chang with the Souls game. All those Souls games, they are, I guess, its own category now. It's a subcategory of just action adventure games. That's all they are.
Mhm.
So shout out to all these games that made it to our list. One, they are all amazing. Doom came through once again. um, Ninja Gaiden felt like a return, but also at the same time, you can tell that the developers who worked in it, you know it from just the camera angles when you're sliding across like wires and everything. Like you can tell just by the gameplay mechanics. But yeah, shout out to all the games that made it on here. You sure as hell made it fun, even if we're playing your game to as an in-between game to the game that we're waiting for the more, you still made it a blast throughout the year. So once again, shout out to you making it to this list.
And just real quick before I pass it on to you, Roger, shout out to fucking Game Pass, bro. 4 out of the 6 of these games were on Game Pass. But yeah, Roger, what's your take on these 6 games in this category this year?
It was just such a wide variety of the same genre, and it was awesome to say that like we had so many different style of games this year in this genre, like whether it be your just hack and slash speed running game to your skill based game, your Metroidvanias, your true like action adventures, like literally exploration games. It just we had a such a wide variety, and all of them were just amazing in their own right, and it wasn't like one was truly better than the other because each was just a unique experience in itself this year.
Hell yeah. And again, I had to chime in from our community to get a tiebreaker vote because we had four out of the 6 games here. We had Ninja Gaiden 4, Wu Chang, Doom the Dark Ages, and Ghost of Yotai all get a vote from one of us. And so we had to get the tiebreaker. And with that tiebreaker, the winner of Best Action Game for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards goes to Ghost of Yotai. Shout out to them on winning this one. This was a big game, and I mean, because like obviously, like I played it, I beat it, and it's coming off of a time where I played and beat Ghost of Tsushima at the beginning of the year, and then I finished the year. Literally, I beat Ghost of Tsushima in January. I beat Ghost of Yotai in December. Literally, bookended my year with the Ghost games, and like you were mentioning about Ghost Eternity, like we were hoping for a sequel in a way, maybe, but like how they low key tied in Ghost of Tsushima into this in such a subtle way, it really fucking touched my heart, and I was like, "Ugh, I love it." Like it just put it over
Yeah.
the edge on that one. I really love how they did that. But yeah, man, I'm super excited for Ghost of Yotai to win this one because again, even in my quick snippet review that I did put out for it was like this game may not have lived up to the first game, but does not mean that this game wasn't a masterpiece of its own. Like this game did
Yeah.
everything that you could ever have hoped for in a video game perfectly. Like in my scale, on my scale, it was a 10 out of 10. I think I gave 3 games a 10 out of 10 this year. 2 of them were Ghost games, and the other one, guess what it is? Expedition 33. So like we're talking about some bangers of games right now. So yeah, again, shout out to Ghost. Some kick it to you, Eternity, for the some thoughts on Ghost.
Yeah. I guess my main thing that makes me excited about what this game offered is the fact that like when you play like Assassin's Creed 1 back in 2007, like it almost felt like a world of possibilities of what can happen next. Then we got Assassin's Creed 2 and we had Ezio, and it's like, okay, this is cool. And then obviously we got Brotherhood and then Revelations to continue with Ezio, but then we got Assassin's Creed 3 with Connor, and it's like, okay, you can see how the world can continue. One thing that really makes me excited about this game is that it could have that effect where we can get another Ghost game, Ghost of whatever, and it just gives us another entry into experience both a time period and it doesn't need to have a modern day thing with it. It's
Hmm.
not needed. We just get to experience a good story within a certain time period with good mechanics.
Hmm.
So like this game, although yes, it is amazing in and of itself, but what it offers to both the studio and to the franchise is something bigger than what it is itself.
Hmm.
So shout out to it, congratulations and everything. You guys had a heavy load on your backs and everything, but you knocked it out the park, and possibilities are endless now.
Hell yeah. What's your thoughts, Roger, on Ghost winning Best Action Game of the Year?
I thought it was a stiff competition, and it's a game that I'm excited to play. So I hope that it lives up to the hype that we gave it here today.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Kicking it over here to our next category on the list. Um, and we can't have action without adventure. And obviously a lot of these can kind of go hand in hand. Obviously we're seeing at least one crossover of a game. This was again another really tough fucking category. I'm just really glad that we were able to include Indiana Jones in a Great Circle because it missed last year's show due to being such a late fucking release. But yeah, man, Xbox had another couple bangers here on the list. PlayStation had a couple bangers. Some smaller studios had a great shot here, and this was really tough to choose here. But nonetheless, here, good variety again as well. We from horror to open worlds to more linear. The co-op aspect with Split Fiction, that's always like a really great time there. But Roger, what's your thoughts on the adventure category?
Um, I think the importance here is not all action games are adventures. We combine the category of action adventure in when we talk about video games where it's not always like you're on an adventure in an action game. Sometimes the story is pretty linear and it's not like you get to explore. When I say adventure, I think about the freedom to carve your own path sometimes, and I think that's one of the most important things to me is the ability to go around and actually interact with the environment to really go to places you want to go. And I think this category needs to exist just so that we get an idea of the things that are out there. It's not all about the mechanics. Sometimes you just want to explore.
Hell yeah! Like hence the title, like of the category. Like you're going on an adventure, you're exploring the world around you, and it's not necessarily about the action that you're doing within the world, but it's just like the storytelling, like the world building is really crucial. The characters around you, and just the discovery of just like what's over there, what's over there, oh shit, like, and then you find like some side content that you just would not have find if you just didn't go on an adventure that day. There's a lot of shit like that can happen, and I've really recently experienced it with Ghost of Yotai. Remember doing it in Indiana Jones. You stumble upon a lot of cool stuff there. I didn't play Outer Worlds 2 yet, but I remember even in the Outer Worlds 1 there was a bunch of hidden shit that you would not have stumbled upon like if you just didn't go out to explore. So yeah, there's just different ways. But what's your take on it, Eternity?
Yo, so this is actually kind of insane too. Not to bring it back to when we talked about narratives, but I feel like Silent Hill F is such an interesting game, especially in adventure category,
Mhm.
because again, it goes to speaking about how narratives are told. If they didn't choose to tell the narrative in a way that they did, so if you continue to play the game over and over again,
Mhm.
more things start to kind of get revealed, and everything, which is kind of cool. But a lot of people are not going to continuously replay the same game over and over and over again. And a
Right.
lot of things also are kind of just conceptual that could kind of mean something else depending on how you look at it. So again, not to bring it back to narrative, but that's a very interesting thing. Like I said, you can live and die by how you choose to tell your narrative. But these games as a whole, one of the things that I find amazing and stuff like that is that you do have adventure games, and like you said, in which if you just go to the left a little and just look behind that box,
Yeah.
you might find something, and it's like, oh, what's that? And everything, and it might be nothing, probably just a health potion, and
It
everything,
sounds like you're
or it
just
might be a
quoting
letter.
Ready Player One. I think you just quoted.
Oh, I did quote that.
I think that was what you
Oh.
said. Yeah, at the end
Not
when he
that good?
when he's trying to find the adventure game, or because like hence the name of the game was the adventure game, and you just had to like go to the left, and eventually you find like the hidden room or whatever, and you find the fucking hidden key, and then you think it's
Oh, I'm
I'm
cold.
pretty sure
That's
that's what you
crazy.
just quoted.
I'm that amazing. Oh hell yeah. So like you might have a game and everything an Outer Worlds 2 and everything, or Death Stranding 2, in which your world is just that big and vast you could do all this. Or you might have something like a Split Fiction that it might not be as open world like that, but it is still a fantastical world on
Mhm.
either
And
side of which story you
And
go in.
like if you
Right.
just step the side a little bit in something like Split Fiction, you find just there's so much there too. Like the game is meant to be
Yes.
explored. And you turn a
Hell
corner
yeah.
and there's a whole mini game to be played. Just like
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
Takes Two and A Way Out, there's, a
Yup.
game within a game, and all you had to do was look around that corner over there.
It's the beauty of making games, man. It's the beauty of making games, or something like an Indiana Jones, in which a character that we've seen in movies when we were growing up, and it just allows you to be a part of a story that we haven't experienced before, a chapter within a book that we were like, hey, we've watched your adventures all these years. We actually get to be a part of that now.
Mhm.
Like, and how these all of these games individually chose to take you on each individual adventure is amazing. And again, I don't know if I can knock one of them out to replace them with another without a hard argument with myself.
With it, yeah, no doubt about that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and reveal the winner of Best Adventure Game for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. And shout out to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Um, Man, this was one hell of an adventure, I tell you that, from start to finish, and just like you wanting revenge and just getting to the end of the game, you're just like, oh fuck. But like, yeah, that man, like the adventure of just discovering like, oh, there's this puzzle over here that has nothing to do with the main story, but like what you can get from it was always pretty badass. Or like just finding like, because how you leveled up Indy in the game was like finding like these adventure books, no pun intended, and like you would be able to get like these points that you would then put towards like your RPG mechanic of the game. And it was just like dope, and like they were some things that's like, how do I get this better? And like you just got to go out fucking explore shit, and like there it is. Now I know how to fucking get my person better at this category, and you're like, all right, yeah, that was dope. So yeah, shout out to Indiana Jones and a Great Circle on that one. Eternal, you looks like you have some thoughts on this one for me.
Nah, just listen, man. Shout out to Indiana Jones. Shout out to the studio for making this game. Shout out for it finally actually coming out. It did come out at a very rough time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm happy that it's actually getting the recognition that it does truly deserve. And yeah, it's one of those properties where it's kind of like there's certain songs that kind of stick in your head, or tunes that stick in your head,
Mhm.
and this is one of like probably like three that I catch myself when I'm just like, when you're like whistling Dixie or whatever. Like this is one of those things you just catch yourself kind of whistling just like randomly. It's like this, the theme song to like Recess, School's Out, or whatever, and then like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like those are like the three that I just randomly whistle all the time. So like, shout out to the studio, shout out to the publishers, and another one, shout out to Game Pass as well. Holy yeah.
Hell yeah. And what about you, Roger? What's your take on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle winning Best Adventure Game?
I mean, like it is the genre. It is the epitome of the genre. It is the spiritual successor to the Nathan Drake, the Laura Croft. I'm just excited to play it. It's one of those things that I have yet to play this year.
I guess they are successors in the sense of a game, but like without Indiana Jones, Uncharted
Hmm.
and Tomb Raider don't really exist, in a
Correct.
weird, really weird way. But then like Indiana
Yeah.
Jones and the Great Circle doesn't exist in game form without Uncharted and Tomb Raider, which is really funny to think about how
The
that
gaming
circle.
paradox.
Yeah. So that's pretty dope. But nonetheless, this isn't going to be the last part where we talk about Indiana Jones, because they did have the DLC that came out this year. So we're sure that we'll be talking about them a little bit later in best DLC. But again, shout out to the team over for at Machine Games for making Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So let's go ahead and check out our next category here, and we got best RPG. Um, my God, this was another fucking hard ass category. Like, really tough to choose from the beginning of the year, kicking off with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Like, there were so many people playing this game, and this is like a different like take, because like we don't really get a lot of great games set during like this era in the style game that it was. And then like to Expedition 33, you already know about the Juggernaut there, but Hades 2 dropping as well, which is a successor to to one of their greatest games. Avowed was a great RPG. The Outer Worlds 2, like there was so much here. And shout out to Obsidian, man. They put out two big ass RPGs in 1 year. So shout out to them. But yeah, man. Roger, what's your take on RPGs? I know this is one of your favorite categories to play.
It's a form of it's a form of adventure. It's a form of the that we've already talked about in other genres, but it is that sort of being able to take on a role that maybe is more your own than you expect to be, being able to make these decisions to truly mold the story to what you want to. It's that being able to play a role within the story and not just experience the story, but to shape it to your will.
And what about you, Eternity? What's your thoughts on the RPG category?
Well, first off, this is a list of heavy hitters. Um, Second off, yes, they did release two RPGs. They also released a survival one as well. Shout out to
Right.
Grounded 2. Um,
Oh
but
man.
this is just heavy hitters, man. Like getting Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, like at the top of the year and everything. Like we finally got Hades 2. Like it's just amazing. We seen Avowed. I remember first seeing that snippet of Avowed where they showed off the
Shooting that
sword that he
arrow
cast.
across, yeah, and
Come on, man.
then,
When you first saw that, I was like, oh shit. Now, whether or not it lived up to that hype, that's for each individual person to argue. I don't care. I enjoyed Outer Worlds 2. Phenomenal, phenomenal follow up to the first one. And I would argue it outdid the first one. Like, again, Expedition, these just heavy freaking hitters. Like, this was a very, very rough year. And granted, especially in my squad, I'm known as the guy who plays all the shooters. But out of everybody in my squad, I also play more RPGs than anybody else too. I don't know how I find the time to split all the bullshit up, but I do. And was just an extremely tough category. When you dad texted me and he said, "Hey, cast your vote," I'm looking through that Google Doc. I'm like, God damn,
how do I
like,
cast my vote?
yeah, how you put me through this, man? I'm about to throw hands with my phone. But just yeah, shout out to every game made it into this category. Well deserved. And yeah, great.
Hell yeah. But without further ado, let's go ahead and reveal the winner of Best RPG for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. And nonetheless, the winner is Expedition 33. I mean, like, it's just, man, like the amount of like customization that you could do to each character to play off of each other, then based on like your different attack moves, different abilities, the weapons, like the elementals and shit like that, and just working towards like how can I do the most fucking damage? That was the end game. And once you unlock that one ability halfway through the game, it was a wrap. Like you're just doing like a million damage, just instant kill people. It just wasn't even fucking fair at that point. But man, that shit was so dope. And like I was watching YouTube videos trying to figure out different combinations, different builds and stuff like that, because then you can rotate different characters, because you can only have three at a time, but like you had like five, I think it was like five that you could choose from. And it's just like it got to a point where I stuck with the same fucking three. But like when like one or two would go, like your whole team would get wiped, those two that were on the bench would then come in the fight, and like what synergies did you have them to set up where they can save the fight when they came in? It's just like, man, like this is so fucking dope. Like man, Roger, what's your thoughts on Expedition 33 and its RPG mechanics?
I think it wasn't the best in the RPG like format, but it just did everything so well. It's a game I talked about for weeks, and the story you played within it, and I'm not upset it won, but I don't think it was the best RPG in my opinion. I think there's like being able to transport myself into the story a little bit more and to build my character as me. I think there were some other options, but I think this was a really good game. It was so good. I talked about it for weeks after finishing it.
What about you, Turney? What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, for me, it was definitely top of my list. Um, it's just one of those games that, like you talked about, like how well each character plays off of each other. But even depending on the world that you're in, and depending on the enemies that you're facing, like when you first start off and everything, for those of you who are going to play, one of the first areas in the world and everything is going to be an aquatic thing. Obviously, water, electricity, cool. If you do some side stuff, one of your characters can get a cool electricity or electric weapon for the element, which makes it a lot easier to smack some people around early on. Granted, that's like base level stuff for RPG things and everything. Just element overdoes this element, overdoes that element, this week to that, that week to that. But again, if you just choose to just go ahead and explore a little, these little cool things that you could just find and everything, it just helps out and everything. I love the game, and I do agree with you, Roger, and everything and stuff like that. That there may have actually been other games in this category and everything that kind of just transported you more into this world. Um, so I do actually want to give a shout out to like Kingdom Come Deliverance and everything. Shout out to that game and stuff. It was truly amazing. But I do think that for me personally, when it's all said and done, I do think that Expedition did knock it out the park and well deserved. So congratulations.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and check out our next category of the evening. But again, shout out to Expedition 33 for winning Best RPG for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. But next up, we have, so for us, we kind of combine these three categories because there's never really enough in each individual category. So we combine best sports, racing, and fighting game. And it sucks because there was no fighting game this year to truly like even put in the category because most fighting games that dropped this year were like remakes, remasters, collections of older games, just nothing really new, or games that are like in early access or in beta form, like nothing that's in full release yet. Because I know like a lot of people from cultured was shoot to win was were playing like was a 2K X 2XKO or whatever fuck it was. I know a lot of people were playing on that, but nonetheless, we do have a bunch of racing and sports games here with NBA 2K26, MLB The Show 2025, Rematch, Mario Kart World, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So a good variety here, a little bit of everything for everybody to check out. But yeah, and sorry, I'm gonna kick it to you because I know you're big on like the competitive scene and like how these games could really play in that. And but what's your thoughts on this category with these five games?
Yes, I'm very huge on the competitive scene in esports, just not on this side of esports.
I hear you.
Shooting side of but no, shout out to all the nominations that made it here. I am happy to see Rematch on here, primarily because I feel like halfway through the year it almost feel like people just forgot about it. But it's still like an extremely just arcadey fun game to just pick up and play and then just throw it to the side and everything. You don't have to take it serious. I feel like it's kind of a game similar to like an Arc Raiders that's out right now. It's as serious as you make it, or you could just have a blast with it. So also shout out to Sonic. I'm happy to see I've had a blast playing with that one. Me and my kids and everything. So yeah, I'm not much of a basketball guy, so shout out to them. Not much of baseball. Those who made it here, shout out to y'all. But primarily free match and Sonic. Love y'all. Y'all make it a fun time with the family.
What about you, Roger? I know this was a fun category for you because I know you at least played two of these games this
Yeah,
year.
I was interested in how this category sort of shook down because like this year we kind of see the drop in all the racing games and or like some of the more core racing games like we've had, Horizons and we had
Gran Turismo.
thank you, Gran Turismo, but now we're looking at, back to the arcade driver games again.
Mhm.
And I think Mario Kart was resting on its laurels this year. It really did feel that way. Like when it dropped and I played it for a little bit, I was like, this is fun, but like there's something missing. And like then watching the Sonic racing game and I was like, I think they figured it out what was missing, and I see them caring about the longevity of the game much more. And I think that's one of the most important things with this genre is it gets old fast. It gets old really fast, so you have to make it enjoyable for longer. And I think that's where Sonic is going to do a better job than Mario Kart, because Mario Kart hasn't even talked about what the future of their game is going to look like. They
Mhm.
really are relying on that open world to kind of cover their ass and make this, a longevity game. Is like, oh, people just want to drive around the world. And honestly, I can't be bothered.
Right. No, I definitely agree because Sonic Racing, I mean, it's only been out for a few months and they've already announced so many different crossovers and just bringing in other
Hmm.
fucking like IPs, whether it be like SpongeBob or I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that they just recently announced. It was just
Minecraft,
I
Minecraft. Yes,
mean,
thank you. And I'm just
they're
Avatar
like,
as
what?
well.
literally doing what Smash Bros was doing with their roster.
Yeah, like it makes perfect
And
sense. And
yeah,
like it's really curious to see like yeah, I agree, like Mario Kart feels like it's just trying to ride its name, like no pun intended, like Mario Kart is just trying to be like we're Mario Kart, like people are going to flock to our game just because we're Mario Kart. It doesn't mean
you're
if
gonna buy it and you're gonna fucking like it, okay?
right,
Like,
but again here comes competition and we're there like maybe they're, I mean Nintendo don't really give a fuck about anybody else, which is
mm-mm.
crazy. Hold
They've sold
on.
their game. That's all they care about.
You're playing
Don't
with the
touch.
microwave.
Yeah, she just fucking started the microwave. I'm like, what the hell? um, but yeah, like it is really crazy. But like you said, this was an interesting time for racing games in general because like we're kind of like all the real life, more of like real racing games are kind of been out right now. We've had Need for Speed Unbound, which is kind of like closer to a anime style racing game, but then you had like Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, which we did talk about last week. How like this fucking category is going to be different next year when Forza
Hmm.
Horizon 6 drops, because that game I'm expecting to be the winner of the category next year just off rip. If I'm basing it off of 5 and 4 and 3 and 2, like they've always been bangers, like 10 out of 10. So like that's gonna be really tough. But real quick off of racing is like putting this category together is really interesting because then you put it up with like MLB The Show 25, and it's like this is probably like one of the best sports games. Period. Like it always is, but like there's no competition in any of the major sports because one license goes out to one company and that's that. Like there cannot be more than one. Like there's not
There's
more than
no room for innovation.
yeah, there's there's Madden. There's no other football games other than the arcade style. Basketball, there's only 2K. I mean, NBA Live was flirting there for a little bit, but it's only 2K. Baseball, it's only MLB The Show, and that is it. Like it's so crazy. But then you got like
I
Rematch, which is
I
like an
think
arcade version of like soccer at least, where like it's not a
yeah.
direct competitor to FIFA. So really interesting time. But what's your thoughts on
I
this
think
category?
I think that's actually a very important distinction too. Is the fact that like it's important for a game like Rematch for one just to even get the light that it's getting right now. Primarily because it could have easily been replaced from what are they calling FIFA now? Is
FC
FC.
EA FC
FC?
Sports or
Yeah,
whatever.
like it could have easily gotten replaced with like. Granted, we're probably not going to see anything like really right now battle a 2K, primarily because when you're playing a basketball game, you're going to want to play with obviously the people and the teams that you have. But something so like when I was telling some of the guys over at Cultured, I was telling them I was like, hey, listen, one thing that GTA 6 can actually do that would be hilarious is actually develop some pretty good basketball like mechanics and add it into GTA, and like literally the stock will drop on 2K because like I can easily just go and just dunk on somebody real quick and then wait for them out of the court and blow their car up. Like so, like but I do think that it is going to eventually be important. I believe was it Lego or someone who was looking into developing more sports games. I
Mhm.
do think that if
Yeah, because they did
they
like
do
Lego 2K Drive, which was their
yeah.
introduction into like sports games, but that was their racing game. But it'd be curious to see if they really branch out into like, but we're supposed to be getting a like arcade basketball game soon. It's supposed to be akin to NBA Street. Volume like 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah,
so
nice.
hopefully we get that, and like but it just sucks. I just would like we talk about it in shooters where like we need competition to make games better, and we've seen it in racing because like Mario Kart has been just dominating the industry, and then here comes fucking Sonic racing cross worlds, and it's like, oh fuck, like now we got a competition, maybe we should do
Yep.
something.
Yep.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look here at the winner for best sports racing and fighting. Hopefully, this is a category that we can eventually split up, but we just need more competition, man. We need some new great games in this category. But nonetheless, the winner is Sonic Racing Crossworlds for best sports racing and fighting games of the year. When this game was announced and I keep seeing it, I'm like, man, I want to pick this up. Like, I need a new racing game to kind of play. But I mean, I low key been thinking about trying to play the Crew Motorsport because it dropped on the Game Pass, but I already bought it. But like now, I might be able to check that game out with friends, and that would be a fun time. But yeah, Sonic Racing Crossworlds seems really cool, and just the different crossovers. Like, this really could become like the Fortnite of like racing games, like arcade racing games. Like, that'd be really dope. Like, they could just bring their name alone, Cross Worlds, already symbolizes that they can cross worlds with any IP that they would want to do. Like, fucking throw Master Chief in there with the Warhog, bro. Just do it. Or the Mongoose. Either one. Why not? Why not? Right?
I'm down for it, man.
But Roger, I'm gonna kick it to you on Sonic Racing Crossworlds winning this category.
That's what I said earlier, and that's kind of was my whole view is we're seeing the lack of competition drive stuff out of the industry. It's like where Netflix is buying Warner Brothers. Like we see more and more innovation leave the industry when more and more IPs get bought up and taken over, and just we need to see some people challenge the status quo, and I think that's what we're going to see here. Is this helps to challenge the status quo a little bit more with the arcade racing game. I don't think it's going to change how Horizon plays next year, but on
No.
the flip side, it's going to definitely it's going to hopefully change how Mario Kart's future looks and what the next step for them looks like.
Yeah, because I mean, Mario Kart was like just dominating. Even like when Nickelodeon, like their kart racer was coming out, and there was a bunch of like kart racers over the past few years, but they just like flopped. Like they just weren't good. Like, just, I hate to say it, but they just weren't good. Like Mario Kart 8 was really fucking good, like in every aspect of it. And it's just like,
And
how
then
could they get better?
dropped more content that they were just like, yeah, you have Nintendo Online, which you're going to need to play against other people. You just get all the other content for free because you're online. And it was not just like, oh, here's one or two courses. It was like, now here's two more cups. We've added an entire extra game.
Yeah, shit was insane. But yeah, attorney, what's your thoughts on Sonic winning the category?
Well, first off, shout out to the homie Jet. That's just a big dog right there. Shout out to this game winning as well. I think that this, again, it being called Crossworlds, does open it up to some. I mean, not a lot of people did like Sonic. What was it, Sonic Riders and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we got our introduction to Jet in that game, so I'm cool with it. Maybe we get a separate mode where it's more stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe not. But wishful thinking. But I do like the fact that they did come in here with just guns blazing. I do feel as though, like you guys said, for a Mario Kart, I think a big issue that they had with their game was the fact that they introduced an open world, but it's kind of like most of like the big open world RPG games today is like it's open world with like nothing, or they
Mhm.
didn't push anything. So like with a Horizon and everything, like when there's certain areas that you can't reach unless it's winter time because the lake's frozen over.
Mhm.
Now you can drive across there and everything. Or even like with some of the Need for Speeds and everything, driving to this location to go ahead and start this specific race. Like, I get what Mario Kart was
It-
trying to do, they just didn't do it.
And you
Like,
can't even start a race by driving to it in the free roam.
yeah.
That's weird. That is really weird.
Like, you have to leave free roam and then select it in the menu. And I was like, why?
Right,
And
like,
then you
so what's
can't
the
free
point of
roam
free
with the
roam?
second player either. You can only free roam by yourself.
That's even more weird. Like, they got a lot of quality of life updates they got to put out for that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh man. But let's circle back to the winner, guys. We got Sonic Racing Crossworlds winning the best sports racing fighting game category of the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. So shout out to them on winning that. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and chime into the next category of the evening. And this was a really interesting one, man. Again, this is another one where it it has some competition, and like some people just get stuck in their ways. But but we had like an outlier here, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment. But this is for best sim/strategy game. So the winner or the nominations for this one was Jurassic World Evolution 3. I don't know why we needed a third one. We talked about it last week. I don't know why we needed a third one of this. Same thing with Civ 7. Like it's the same game, just however many years it takes in between. Tempest Rising, I heard, was really good this year. 2 Point is really cool because it gives you a different way of like strategizing and simulating like different aspects of the world that you wouldn't normally think about, like because they've done like campus, hospitals. This one was for museum, so it's like you're running a museum, so that's pretty dope. But the outlier here is the altars. Like this was a very interesting take on like the whole sim strategy thing, because like it's a third person action adventure game, but like you're really strategizing on like base building in the layout of like Fallout Shelter, and then you also had to like manage your resources and manage your altars of yourself, because they might rebel against you and kill you in your sleep. So it's like it's really fucking interesting. But yeah, Roger, I'm
Man,
gonna
you're
kick it to
really
you.
sad about getting executed in your bed, aren't you?
Yeah, I sure was. That happened a lot. I almost fucking stopped playing the game because of it. But I eventually figured it out, because like the game was just that good where like it pissed me off so bad that I wanted to delete it, but it was so good that I didn't want to delete it. Like but yeah, Roger, what's your take on this category, cuz I know this is one of your go-tos.
Honestly, this was one of the best games of the year for me. Like it felt on par with Claire with Expedition 33. Like for me, it was a really compelling story, and it
Mhm.
was it had all the makings of a good dystopian sort of like future game. But not only that, it touched on the idea of one of the biggest topics in our zeitgeist right now, which is just AI, and like the fact that like the main character is only alive because the artificial intelligence determined he was the only person that could have had the varying amount of life paths which he could have taken to give him the amount of altars to save himself and the mission. He was chosen because he was the only one who could have done every role depending on how his life had shaken out. And I thought that was just such a cool idea, to just be like, our life is not in our own hands, but it could be in one day. Just AI is
Mhm.
the overall, like,
And the other
your
topic
entire life is controlled by it.
the other topic that's like kind of relevant in today's world is the whole like altering, like creating clones, like obviously because like they just
Gene
came out,
editing.
yeah, gene editing, like it just came out, like Tom Brady's dog that he has is a clone of his dog that died like a few years ago. So it's like
Hmm.
he like it's so crazy, like what, like it comes down to like ethics, like is it ethically okay, and then it comes down to like, do we bring back extinct animals or do we not do that? Is it going to fuck up the ecosystem, or do we save species that are about to die? Like do we fucking do it for cows, like because the whole like lab grown meat, like if we clone a cow but now we have more meat than we like, is it okay to eat the clone meat? Like it's so fucking like so much into it that this game really just provokes the ideas of like, is it
If
okay to
we
do
full on figure out how to clone a human being, is it does it get full rights? Like
which is
it
talked about
it
in the game because
yeah, like do clones have rights? And like this is the first use of cloning in a way that wasn't like a clone of an already existing thing, but a genetically lab made human based on, just DNA, like uh artificially generated intelligence given flesh almost. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fascinating. It
But
was a
what about the other
fascinating
games though?
sci-fi story.
What about the other games of the category, since we do not have the winner just yet?
Yeah, like there's not much to talk about in my opinion for the other ones. I just felt like there was
You
only
played
one
Civ 7,
true
right?
strategy sim game for me this year. The other ones just felt like just another retelling of something that already exists. Like honestly, I'm kind of disappointed we put Civilization in here. I don't think it deserves to be. It is just another, it's almost like Assassin's Creed to me at this point. It's just Ubisoft slop. It's just Sid Meier slop at this point. It doesn't innovate,
That's
and
fair.
Alters did.
What's your thoughts, Eternity? Did you get to check out any of these games or know much about any of them?
Yeah, so like I think I'm kind of like with you. I feel like some of this stuff is just like, like not to be down or name the games that are nominated because obviously you're here for a reason. But I do feel as though like some of this stuff is kind of rinse repeat, and I do feel as though Alters was kind of the one that I think you guys said it the best and everything with just the one word and everything that it's provoking. It's thought provoking on so many different levels. Whether it be just like on a simple thing of like what necessitates humanity. Like, granted, you are a human, but you're also a clone of someone that is there. So do you get the same rights?
Mhm.
Um, do we treat you the same? Almost kind of like oh my god, I forgot that one game that was a PlayStation exclusive that it was about like the robots and everything and stuff like that. And it had like the 50 million different options you could choose and 33 different endings, whatever the hell it was. But
Detroit
Oh,
or
dude,
whatever.
yeah,
Detroit
Detroit
Become
once
Human.
you
There we go.
become human.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. So like it's thought provoking in that sense of like um how do we treat you and everything and stuff, but also just mechanically in the game and stuff. If you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and they just feel like maybe we can do this better without you, or maybe you're just
You're
the
the
reason.
weakest link.
Yeah, like like we don't need you. We can clone ourselves from here on out. We're good.
We got
Like
it, bro.
yeah, like we're mentally stable. You're the one that's not in there. Just what the game offers, both on a narrative perspective, but also mechanics, and also just the things that they push. And you have, I ain't gonna lie, it's one of those games where you need to be saving like a lot, just in
Yeah.
case you do that big oopsie and stuff. And the big oopsie will come, like it will.
Well,
And stuff.
shout
And
shout
just
out to
hope
the
that you
Couldn't
gotta
beat
game.
the
save.
game without it.
The game
Yeah,
autosave's
this
pretty fucking good though at different
Yeah.
fucking points. It's really good.
and shout out to him for doing that because
Yes.
you will oopsie a lot in the game. But yeah, like to the other games and stuff. Like I didn't know we need another Jurassic Park, but from some of the people who I do know who do play it, they do thoroughly enjoy it.
Hmm.
I just didn't know that we needed another one. To Civ, I mean, like I get it. There's a lot of people that's like all they do.
Hmm.
Good to you and
Just
stuff,
one more
but
turn. Just one more
yeah.
turn.
But
Just
to
one more
me, like
turn, man.
this category as a whole is not really something that's up my alley. But from what I do know of, I spend a lot of time just like watching people play stuff and stuff, and I read. I got an issue just reading too many articles, stuff that I'm not even interested in. I just like to know shit. So like,
Same, brother.
it's not
Same.
my category, so I will step back on this. But I will also say that yeah, shout out to Alters and everything and stuff, but also Civ because I did hear a lot of people just thoroughly enjoyed it. So those two games, shouts to them.
Hell yeah. Without further ado, I think we could tell what is the clear winner of this category, and nonetheless, it is the Alters. Shout out to the Alters team over there in winning Best Sim Strategy Game here at the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. And again, shout out to Game Pass, bro. like, like we get access to so many great fucking games of the year throughout, and it's just like this is great. Like I don't know if I personally would have bought this game. I don't know if I genuinely would have. You know, like just
I
having that
probably like
exposure. It
yeah.
like it looked intriguing, but I don't know if it looked intriguing enough, like from the trailers and shit like that. Go, I need to buy that game. I just
Like
don't.
the price of the game to be replaced with just the months of Game Pass subscription, it was worth it for me. Like I it paid for itself. I beat it on Game Pass within under a month, and so all that extra money that I saved by just playing it through Game Pass is just used on something else now, which was awesome. It's the fact that we get these games day and date is just there's nothing like it.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible, and just looking at I'm playing the trailer here up on screen right now of the altars, and it's just like to like just to think back to the different mechanics and how you had to strategize to get to certain areas. Like I had to make sure I manufactured enough like stim packs or the re-entered like the battery packs and shit like that to charge your battery back up, because like your battery could only be used so many times before it had to be recharged. Or if you went through one of those fucking like magnet EMP fields and it fucking depleted your battery immediately, then you had to, and then you get to the next point, you're like, well, I need to get up there and I can't climb because my battery is depleted. You're like, fuck. There goes that
I'm
day.
upset.
I just wasted that fucking day, and then that was probably a point where you had to reload a save file, and make sure you manufactured enough, and then go and do that part, and you're like, all right, cool, now I'm good. So it's just like, man, like there was just so much to do, like strategizing both like in a third person aspect of the game, but then like putting together your base and in that wheel was like, I have too much weight. I need to limit the weight. All right, I need to get rid of this, but if I need to get rid of this, I need to move this. Like there was just so much like trying to put
That
together.
It's just like there wasn't a way where you could game out some of these features and just be like, I don't need to worry about this. This metric right here, trash. Don't care. I'm done. I don't have to worry about it. It's gone out of my zeitgeist. My mind does not see it anymore. But then you'd sit there and you go, shit, I can't go to the next zone. Shit, but I want all this stuff to be able to go to the next zone so that I can complete my extra missions because like this is why I'm on the fuck and then you're like you just don't know what to do. And then you're like, well, now I have to rebuild the whole base because I built these 3 extra corridors that I need to delete just so I could save 3 pounds. And you're like,
Yep. It was so fucking crazy. Or you would have to upgrade your fucking entire vehicle to like the next level so it could.
and then
it
you
could
filled it again and fucked up. And you're
yeah,
like,
fuck, I didn't learn my lesson the first time.
why am I here? Why am I like this?
Yeah, so yeah, this was one hell of a time, man. I absolutely love this fucking game, even though it pissed me off to a point where it almost went off the hard drive. But I'm glad I stuck with it and got through it. Even the
And like the endings.
yes, the ending, like the choices that affect the ending, and then like looking at the fucking storyboard and understanding all of your different decisions of what could have happened, and I'm just like, bro. Even back to like the middle decision of the game, which basically started the entire tree branching, was insane. And then like based on like the different altars that you did create, because there was a lot of them that you end up not creating in general at all.
And like there's one that like it challenges your perception of humanity and like and like you
Yeah,
know you may be a
I guess we could talk about it. Like you're talking about the one where it's like
tabula rasa.
Yeah, tabula rasa, where it's
tabula rasa literally means blank slate.
Yeah.
And like tabula rasa is such a cool term. Like in Path of Exile, it's a name of an item that is literally a blank slate that you just do whatever you want on it. Well, this one is just like it's literally supposed to be nothing, but then it starts moving, and you're like,
yeah, it's a person that's supposed to have no conscious and no like brain activity, but yet it starts to have brain activity, and then you have to make a decision of like to extract his brain or do whatever, and then like, oh my fucking god!
But then the fact that like he just literally is like, come, and you're like, he talked, and then he looks out the window with you and just goes, beauty, and you're like, fuck, I'm glad I didn't rip this guy's fucking brain out. He's like, shit, man.
Whoops.
And like the scientist is just like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, fuck you, man.
Part of the beauty of the game is that like on the low scale, like as a fan of just like xenomorphs, alien, like the whole alien series stuff, on a very, very small scale, this gives you kind of a feeling of like the starting points of what could happen. Like I would be very, very interested to see like if this studio decided like, hey, can we actually tap into the Alien franchise and allow you to be the one who kind of starts to, you know, starts to make shit happen.
That might get crazy.
Yeah, cause my thing is like on a small scale, it almost like you get to kind of play God a little bit, and it's like you get to on a small scale you get to play with the pieces. Like it's just a big what if jigsaw and everything and stuff. Obviously, there's an end goal, you know, just an end of the game, but your way to reach that is just what makes the game the game.
Right. And then like that's the other aspect too, is like dealing with the whole like corporate America scheme. It's like, do you side with the corporate or do you go into the corporate office? Because that has a major play in like your outcome at the end of the game too. You're just like, which side did I take? And then did I side with my wife or did I not side with her, or your ex-wife at the time or whatever? And it's just like, and then like that conversation you had with your alters was like, she's your ex? What happened to our life? Because we were married in my life.
What did you do? Yeah, like what did you do wrong? And it's like, whoa, what did she do wrong? He's like, no, you fucked it up. You're like, yeah, you're right.
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. I was the problem.
yeah.
Was
This
it the
game,
birthday thing again? No, no, no. It was that. It was that.
man. Yeah. So this game was so great in so many different aspects, and honestly, we could sit here and talk about it all night long because it was that fucking good. But nonetheless, we do got another topic or another category to get to. But again, shout out to the Alters winning on Best Sim Strategy of the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. But on to the next category, which is our famous category, the Best Proper Pooper, aka Best Mobile Game. Um, this was probably one of the worst categories of the year. As big as the mobile market is really expanding and growing, becoming the mainstream of gaming, there was not really many new games that were worthwhile to put on this list. And honestly, putting these four together, I was just like, I really don't know how I feel about these four. I just don't.
Yep. I think one of the hardest things was finding new ones. I think that's kind of just like
Hmm.
you said, like this year we weren't strapped. I mean, in the past years we were strapped with stuff. Like, we
Hmm.
had many games and everything. We had full on open world RPGs that you could pull out your backbone, plug your phone in,
Hmm.
chill on that toilet, and then play your popper pooper. But this year I feel as though it wasn't all like that. Now the ones that we do got, they were legit. They were decent, but it wasn't like we got in the past years.
Yeah, not at all. What's your thoughts, Roger? I know you do a lot of proper pooping.
I actually don't
I
play a
know.
lot of mobile games, as you know, and this I think was a really difficult category this year because like there wasn't much that really entered the zeitgeist except for one game. One game entered the zeitgeist this year, and that I think honestly is going to be the winner, hopefully. But like the others, it just didn't feel like anything broke into like the internet. Like
Yeah.
it has to take on a personality of its own almost, and like I think only one game this year truly did that, but we'll see who
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah, this one was like we were just saying, really interesting. Like we basically took Persona 5 and we made a mobile version, okay, whatever. And then we took Destiny and we made a mobile version, which is just like PlayStation just doesn't seem to know what they're really trying to get into, especially because like they just recently announced like that Horizon game that's going to be like mobile and PC only or some stupid combination, but it's not coming to your PS5, which is weird, whatever. And then like yeah, Sonic Rumble was pretty cool, a pretty cool entry into the Sonic franchise and just a different take. I played a little bit of it honestly when it first dropped on like I played it like the first 2 days and that was probably about it. And I don't really know much about Pretty Derby, but I know some people play it from time to time. But again, really tough category. But without further ado, the winner of Best Proper Pooper, aka Best Mobile Game of the 2025 Press Start Game Awards, goes to Sonic Rumble. This is the winner of the year for here. I'm just gonna get the trailer up on screen. But Roger, what's your thoughts on Sonic winning Best Proper Pooper?
Honestly, I'm a little confused myself, but that's because I didn't really spend much time with it. Like it just for me, from my little section of the internet, my little sliver, like I come from a different group than you guys do on the internet, and like this game didn't do anything. Like it just really it didn't rumble the same way. Whereas like Pretty Derby, for example, I'm not saying it was a great game, but I am definitely saying that it did like shake up the internet a little bit. Like there is a retired horse that like after the Pretty Derby game came out, there was a website to donate food to the horse so that they would keep it so that they could afford to continue to keep it alive because it has long since passed its prime and it couldn't race anymore, so it couldn't generate money. So the owners had a site for generating like food donations. They literally bricked the site, so many people donated food to this horse that
Oh
was
wow.
in the game. Yeah, like to me it was interesting just to see the things that existed this year in this category, but like it just was quiet overall.
Yeah, I even tapped into Destiny Rising just for like a mission, and I was just like, this feels so terrible. Like I want to love Destiny so much, but I just can't. And
It
like
hurts.
I feel like I'm so far behind in Destiny 2. It's like I don't even want to try and play any of the new content because I feel like I missed so much stuff. So it feels like they're at a restarting point. Like we need a Destiny 3. Like we need a new starting point for everybody to hop back on and be on that Destiny vibe, because Destiny 1 was a lot of fun. Destiny 2 was a lot of fun when it first dropped. But then like it just wasn't enough like sustainable content to keep you there. And it's just like Destiny Rise, like what am I playing? You're telling a story that's already been told before. Like I don't know what we're doing. But what you,
Something. We're
yeah,
doing
I
something.
guess so. But what's your thoughts, Eternity, on best proper pooper?
Oh well, shout out to Sonic Rumble for taking that. In terms of Destiny, yeah, I feel like after the Witch Queen, they kind of just gave up on story, and so yeah, after the Witch Queen DLC, it's just been slow decline and stuff. So no need to play it. Rising though, hook up your controller and it's a blast. So yeah, you got a backbone and everything and stuff. Plug that baby in and have some fun and stuff. So that's definitely where the fun's at. I don't play it with orange screen controls. It's dog water. Controller, 10 times better. But yeah, I do again like shout out to Sonic Rumble, but it was slim pickings this year.
Yeah.
There really wasn't much.
The only mobile
Although
game I
Jewel, if you play Jewel on the Xbox app, I play Jewel a lot on the Xbox app, right?
you
Get
gotta
my
get those
10 points
five,
a
yes,
day.
10 points a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, honestly the only mobile game I play every day or most days is Pokemon TCG Pocket. But like that was on last year's list, so it couldn't be on this year's list. But and like I said, I played a little bit of Sonic and a little bit of Destiny, and that was about it. But nonetheless, that is the winner for best proper pooper. Let's hope for a better year next year. As big as the games industry is, like we see thousands of games released a year, week after week, month after month. Like it's insane how many games release in a year. Um, but we need to see better mobile games. Like if that's going to be the main market for gaming, we got to see better and newer games. Like
Next year will be better though. I'm telling you this. The alpha testers, we did get let back into the Division Resurgence, the mobile
mhm.
game, and it is a lot better for when I tested out the pre-alpha closed testing, if I'm allowed to even say that. Uh, it's a lot better. It's a lot smoother as well, and I'm actually using a shittier phone, and it plays a lot smoother than it did back then. So yes, we'll have that hopefully next year.
Yeah, which I that's one of the franchises I absolutely love, and I'm really excited for the future of it. So only time will tell on what we will get from them. But without further ado, let's go ahead and check out our next category of the evening, and we got best DLC. This is obviously a exclusive here to the Press Start Game Awards, because the Game Awards, the official Game Awards, does not have this category. But this is great to see, because like this was a really banger of a year for DLCs. I know we talked a little bit about it last week, Roger, like how Atomic Heart. This I think that this is their third or fourth DLC, but I know you really love this game. Sea of Stars, we all loved the fucking game. Like that was one of the best games we played in recent times. Liza P was a 10 out of 10 for most of us when that first dropped, but this got its DLC. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of the Giants. I mentioned this DLC earlier in the show, and of course, Rain World got its DLC with the Watcher. So it's like, man, which one do we go with here? But in my opinion, there's only one real winner, but I'm just being a little bit biased. But attorney, I'm gonna kick it to you here, because I know you got some thoughts on this category.
Uh, yes. So first off, shout out to my NPC in the chat and everything. He did not lie. But shout out to the NPC in the chat. But music, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but Vic and I have been on this high for gaming music, and probably for like the past like 3 years or so, I want to say.
Mhm.
And it's just been like I really don't know what really ticked the gears. All I know is that like when like Liza P dropped, that was something we could not stop talking about. And then they made it
Mhm.
available for you could get on Spotify. We were texting each other the day of like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh.
yo, it's on there, go listen to it. And then like like 6 months later or 4 months later, Alan Wake 2 dropped and everything. And I'm like, oh
Oh.
shit.
Yeah.
Like this oh, it was just amazing and stuff. Music within a game can change a lot. and having a DLC expansion of things allows you to one fix things that you kind of either effed up in the beginning or expound upon something that you can make better. For those of you who played the OG Alan Wake and stuff like that, the DLC that came after, the little things you could do with your flashlight that you couldn't do in the main story, you
Mhm.
can expound upon different stuff, add little different things. But also, if there are story things that it's not big enough to really fit inside the main campaign, but there's still something you want to tell, there's still something good enough to tell, or something that's small enough that can expand the world even much. A DLC is where you do it. And all of these games, all five of them, truly, truly kicked ass in dropping a DLC. And I don't know, Sea of Stars, man. Jesus Christ. What a fucking game, man. And just that DLC itself and everything was amazing. Indiana Jones as well. I didn't even expect Indiana Jones to even drop a DLC, so shout out to them for
Right.
even doing that.
We didn't even need it, but here we are.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck, you getting a DLC? All right, sure, fuck it, more story. um, but yeah, no, shout out to all these games for doing their job and stuff. They did great, and more from a good game is never bad. So
Oh yeah. And Roger, what about you? What's your thoughts on the best DLC category this year?
Category that I feel like I don't have much skin in the game for.
Mhm.
I find myself having a hard time going back to a game that I've already played once. And it's a category that's rough to really choose because we talked about it before. DLC is really hard because like it has to be good enough to bring you back most of the time. Or if it's the first time somebody's playing your game, you have to make it easy to get into that DLC without it just being like, oh, hey, stop what you're doing. That guy over there, he wants to kick your ass. You should go deal with him. And you're like, cool. And then you get all this crazy stuff over here that you have to deal with now. And then you come back to the main story and you're like, well, now I'm just overtuned. So like it's one of
Mhm.
those weird things where the DLC has to continue the game, not just expand the middle part of the game, because you don't want a fat game. You want a very nice linear feeling game. Like at the end of the
Mhm.
day, we know what a big bloated game looks like. 700 hours of content or whatever.
500.
500,
Yeah.
sorry.
Shout out to Dying Light 2. But no, I get it. And then like even in like a different sense, like looking at Liza P Overture, right? This is actually a prequel DLC. So like
hmm
we actually get to see like it says it expands on the story that takes place before the main game events in the final days of the city of Krot, before the puppet frenzy massacre. So like it kind of sets the story up. So like this is something that you would either play before you start playing the game, or it is perfect to go like once you beat the game, you play this and then you'll be good. Like I do think it has its own separate thing, where
hmm
it's not in the middle. So it seems like it's pretty cool, which I always thought like the whole concept of making this a prequel and understanding like what happened before, what led up to the puppet frenzy was like, because there was a lot of fucking lore and storytelling within the game. And you're like, damn, like that shit sounded like it was really horrible, and now you get to go experience it. So that's pretty cool. But I'm really excited to see the future of Liza P, because obviously we know a sequel is in the works, hence the end of the fucking game. And what happened there, that the what the post credit scene, like, whew,
actually they have 3 projects
yeah,
currently in the
3.
works.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be nuts.
shout out to them.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Any last thoughts before we reveal the winner of best DLC?
Yeah, real quick, Roger, I actually really love what you said too, is that sometimes with a DLC, you kind of also don't want to make that DLC, whereas like, let me go hit this DLC, you come back to the main campaign and you're just like dog walking everybody.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of one of the things that I kind of did have to give a nod to Elden Ring's DLC, where like the way you level up over there is so much different than how you level up in the main campaign. So like you can be OP in the main campaign and then walk over here and it's like, dude, although you're not level 1, we're all kind of level 1 over here. You just got a pretty different weapon, that's all.
It
So
scales differently. We care about a
exactly.
news stat. And you're like, shit, I don't focus the stat.
I'm
What's my new
17 on
build
my
look
luck. What
like?
do you mean it doesn't work over here? There is no luck.
Yeah, we got rid of that stat.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Rogers. Like DLC is always a tough one for me because once I beat a game, I'm probably 99% not going to go back to the game to play it again. One, play it again or play the DLC because like you have to relearn the game, and that's a crucial part to DLC. Then is like it has to kind of reintroduce you to like the mechanics of the game again before you start playing. And if it doesn't, you're going to feel like you're lost, and shit's going to be just not enjoyable to kick it off with.
Relearning that parry timing and Liza P.
I
Oh
don't.
my god, it's atrocious.
I don't want to put myself through that again until the new game comes out. My God, I still have nightmares of that one boss. I spent like 4.5 like days trying to get through that motherfucker. And mind you, it's like 4 hours at a time. Like I spent like 16 hours trying to get through one boss, and I
My man,
hated it.
like I still got anyone beat. I was playing Dark Souls, Prepare to Die edition. I get to the final boss. I quit. I was like, this man doesn't like wizards, fuck him, I'm done playing. 4 years later, I boot up the game because I'm like, I'm going to play Dark Souls 2 and 3. And you know what? I have to beat this one to play those so that I relearn the entire game just to fight the last boss.
Oh fuck
There
that!
you go.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
thank you.
man. I was like, and I did it in a day.
All right, guys. So
Oh,
without further ado, the winner of Best DLC for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards goes to Liza P. Overture. Really well deserved here. It looked fucking fire. A lot of great reviews. It just kind of just continued the success story behind this game, and really looking forward to the future. This was one DLC where I really contemplated thinking of like, do I check this one out? But it all comes down to, like you said, like relearning the fucking parry system and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I feel like beating my head across a brick wall again. I just don't know if I want to. Like, as much as I love that game, like, it was still a 10 out of 10 of experience, but, like, I don't know if it's worth doing it again just for DLC. Like, this DLC should have came out, like, within, like, a 3-month window of the game releasing, in my opinion. Or, like, it has to come out within, like, an earlier time frame instead of, like, 3 years later or 2 year, whatever it was. And I'm just like, I'm not going back to it. I don't know.
yeah.
It's tough because there's too many new things to play.
I understood why it did take longer because like they did not reuse any of the same enemies, or like all the enemy types are all different and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I get it. But yeah, you are. It should have released a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Roger, any thoughts on Liza P winning it?
No, I think it was a good game, and I'm excited to see how the world builds from here.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. With the red shoes coming in the sequel.
Dude, there's no place like home.
You guys are ruining it. But without further ado, shout out again to Liza P.
excited.
Overture winning Best DLC for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. But next category we got is Best Indie Game. And, you know, we've had some really hard categories, but my God, like, indie games have been some of the most enjoyable experiences in gaming, period. And so that makes this category one of the hardest. And I played 5 out of the 6 games. I do plan on playing the 6th one next year, but my fucking God, like me and Roger talked about it last week, how like there's 2 games on this list where he was playing it and recommended me to play it, and then vice versa. Game that I played and I'm like, bro, you're really gonna like this game. And we were both hooked on both of the games until we beat them. But yeah, shout out to, we got Abiotic Factor, which was a great co-op experience, survival game. Blueprints, those puzzles had me hooked for days. Ball Pit, my God, that gameplay loop was like crack. Sword of Sea was such a beautiful fucking game. Just from there was no voice, like the music told the game, the world told the game, like what you were doing in the game told the story. Obviously Dispatch was really dope, and you know, the juggernaut of Expedition 33, which is an indie game still. It didn't seem like it at the end of the game, you know, that really felt like a really big fucking AAA experience, but you know, it was still an indie game. So really fucking hard choices here. But Roger, what's your thoughts on the indie category?
It is a bloated category. It's a problem because at this point we've built an entire category that tells a story of everything that isn't AAA. if you're not AAA, we almost treat you like indie because like that's where some of these big startups are coming in nowadays. Like indie games aren't just some dude on a couch sometimes anymore. They are AA studios that like just get funding. There's some developers who have been unhomed somewhere and are unhoused and need a new place to find, you know, their roots. And this is where we're finding that truly the innovation in the gaming industry comes from nowadays. If it weren't for this genre, we would, or this category, we would be in such a rough shape, I think, gaming wise, because every year we would just get Call of Duty, they'd make a ton of money hand over fist, and everyone would be angry.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Eternity?
It truly is a bloated category, because a lot of these I can't say a lot. This year, indie studios really did kick off some good stuff, but at the same time, a lot of like these new startup indie studios are like legit veterans that, like you had said, like they get funding and they get a very, very, very nice big check. And because they're veterans, they also know how to work very quick and efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, I think it's kind of one of those things. One of my favorite people that I like to watch, MKBHD, is a YouTuber. I
Mm-hmm.
love when he does camera tests and he just to see where people's minds go of the quality of like who has the best camera. And normally, even if one picture is a little darker but has more detail, people would still pick the lighter image with less detail, even if it's a little bit more fuzzy or blown out, only because it's lighter than the darker photo that clearly is still a better photo. So when you look at indie games, it's really interesting to see sometimes how some people are like, wait, that's an indie game? That's a lot better than this one, only because visually it might not be, as appealing as another game and everything. But when you have a game like a Blueprints that it's like those puzzles just kind of stick with you, especially like when you get to a point where it's like I'm about to punch a hole through my monitor because I can't figure this shit out and stuff.
You
But when
get
you
the
do,
end of the corridor and you just stare at a blank wall and you're like,
and you, like, it's enough.
restarting again?
Yep.
Yeah,
Here we go.
it's one of those things, man. But then, you also have games that obviously are more serious, like an Expedition 33. But you also have games that or sir, careful over there. Sorry about that. But you also have a game like a Sword of the Sea, where it reminds me a lot, kind of like of a Creatures of Ava, where it's about you in the world and it kind of experiencing the world and just like being in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did not play Ball Pit, so I can't speak on that. Nor Abiotic Factor and stuff. Although I do know that you played that and you had a blast. But shout out to the indie games and just the indie developers, those who just refuse to give up and want to truly put their passion out to other people to experience what they once had in their mind. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and I just wanted to chime in on like your whole thoughts on like the whole veteran thing because the official Game Awards actually kind of dealt with that same issue, and Honesty really came to the forefront. And that was in their best debut indie titles, and that was Megabonk. And the developer was like, "I shouldn't have been this game hasn't shouldn't have been nominated because like I'm the same exact one developer from another game that just labeled themselves
This
as
is
something
my
else."
other studio right here.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
so like it's not like a best indie game, but debut indie game, so they had to make a change.
And not only that, like after he gave that honesty, the industry went, "Oh, okay, all right, well, players nomination then." And he was like, "Okay, cool, whatever, man. Thanks."
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, shout out to them. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and reveal the best indie game for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. And the winner is Abiotic Factor. Yeah, this was a almost a sweeping win here for this one, and man, this was a lot of fun from start to finish. And this game had us hooked. Like we were supposed to only play this game on Tuesdays. We started playing this game on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are you available to play? Yeah, you guys want to play? You're not available to play. All right, well, we're just gonna go like scavenge some resources, and then whenever we do play, we'll push the story forward. Like bro, we were just playing the game nonstop, and I just love how we all had different roles. Like Dom, aka Marshmallow, was our cook. I was our builder there for the longest. Philipher and you, Roger, were the explorers. And then when Phil kind of dropped out, like I became like the fill in. Like I'm a build, and then I'm also going to explore with you. And we started to fuck shit up. But like just like trying to piece the puzzle together and figure out the next step and like what you had to do to get the next step was just the evolution of the story was really dope. It was just me and you talked about the ending where it kind of just was like it doesn't seem like it ended. Like the game feels like there's a lot more to it. Um, which they may add more content to it with content.
Well, and the
They have a
developers have
roadmap.
already said, hey, we've got a 1.1, a 1.2 in the works. Like,
Yep.
so does the story continue after it? Who knows? They can't say because they don't want to say. But,
Right. They
like,
don't want to spoil
it was
nothing.
one of those games that I was itching to play every minute.
And it's just like the ending that did happen in the game without spoil. It was just like, oh fuck, like that wasn't a good ending. Like, even in the like not in a sense of like was it a good or a bad, like in sense of quality. It was like a good versus bad morality. Like, oh shit, like what happened in the world was like,
Oh,
damn,
wait.
that's that.
Oh, shit. We fucked up.
Yeah,
Oops.
like damn, did we make a good decision? As it doesn't seem like it. Because now we are. Never mind, don't want to spoil it. But yeah. Shout out to Abiotic Factor, but Inhuman. Any thoughts on this one? When in the I know you don't, you didn't play it, but you don't know too much about it. But did you see
Yeah,
any talks around the
I,
game?
I I think I trust both of your judgment enough to be able to say it was deserved. I did not play it myself, so I can't give you my feedback on that and everything. But I do know that if you two thoroughly enjoyed it and it had you playing off the proper schedule that you were supposed to be playing, then obviously it was good enough.
Hell
Worth the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yes.
without a doubt. And honestly, this was one of those games where I really didn't think I was going to want to play. Like it wasn't even on my list to play. And Roger was like, let's check this one out. I was like, I'll give it a go, but I don't think I'm going to stick around. Like I don't think this is going to be a game that we play on Tuesdays. Like,
man,
if
you trying to play?
Yeah, I was
Vic,
just
I'm
like,
trying to play.
it was like the Wednesday after our first Tuesday. I was like, yo, do you want to play? It was just like, okay, I guess we're hooked. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. But honestly, like it also became more enjoyable too, like because you were obviously doing a lot of the upgrading and creating all of the new shit that we kept unlocking. When you started to like divvy like everything out to everyone to make them feel included, that also made the experience a lot better. Because like it was hard for me to even think about building any of that stuff if I was building the bases or moving to our new base, like our new forward operating base. Like I didn't have any chance to fucking think about building this new laser gun or new armor and shit like that. You're like, hey, I left this here for you. Oh, cool. Oh shit, I'm fucking things up now. Like this is dope. So yeah,
Shit, that's cool, man.
yeah, the game was just dope, and I just love the different worlds that you could go into, man. Like you got like such a different variety. Like that first world we went into, it was like a Silent Hill vibe, but like with these like monsters from. I don't even know what to even think from like War of the Worlds or some stupid shit like these towering beasts that were just oh man, it was spooky but crazy, and it was just like, oh fuck, he's chasing me, I'm inside, oh fuck, he can come inside. It was like,
My
oh
man literally just reached down and just looked at you through the door, and you're like,
but
okay, all right. So I'm supposed to be afraid.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, again, shout out to Abiotic Factor, man. This is a game that I would hop back into playing again because like this game doesn't take a lot to learn. Like you're not relearning anything. It's a very simplistic style game. So maybe once some new updates come out, maybe we can hop back in and see if the story actually progresses. But again, shout out to Abiotic Factor. And next up on the list is our exclusive category here with Best Remake Remaster. This is where these games belong, and we had a good bit of them this week, and a lot of are the good ones this year, and a lot of great games, honestly. I mean, we had Metal Gear Solid, Delta, Snake Eater, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, System Shock had its 25th anniversary remaster, and of course Oblivion Remastered, which took the world by the gaming industry by storm. But this was a tough one, man. This was a little bit of everything for anybody. Whether you're a huge fan of the Tony Hawk series, like I know I was back in the day. Metal Gear was always my jam. Like that's what I played a lot was on the PS1 and 2, which I never played Snake Eater. I played the first two games and didn't really touch many of them after that. But understanding that Snake Eater is really like a prequel to all of them, this may be the chance for me to hop in. But yeah, man, this was a really dope collection of remakes and remasters this year. But Inhuman, what's your Attorney? What's your thoughts on this category?
This is it's stacked. It's stacked. Now whether or not some of these remakes or remasters lived up to it is up to, you, but it's kind of freaking stacked, man. Now, granted, I really wasn't the biggest Metal Gear person coming up. I played it when I was over at my uncle's house a lot. I was more of a Splinter Cell guy. But uh, I still have fond memories with Metal Gear. Xenoblade is like fucking. I'm a fan. Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll just cut that as short as possible because I could go on for a while. Shout out to Xenoblade and everything. I am a fan. I am a fan. I did grow up playing a lot of Tony Hawk games. Now, granted, most of my time did go into the Thug games personally. With that being Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2. Story of 2 wasn't in that, but 1 I am biased because you start off as somebody in Philly, so I am biased in that. But yeah, like these games or this category itself is stacked as fuck. I guess that's all I got to say. Yeah, until we get to who won.
Hell
But yeah,
yeah,
no, it's stacked as a motherfucker.
Roger. What's your thoughts on this category, man?
This year, remakes and remasters, there didn't feel like there was something for me, but I got to experience some games this year that I didn't get to play originally when they were big, when they were in the industry, when they had their heyday. And it kind of it reinforced my opinion of what I had thought of the game, because even a remaster of the game didn't make it appealing to me after I started playing it. And so it's a nice way to experience a game, whereas it doesn't detract from like the industry. Because like imagine, for example, we re-release Skyrim again this year for the 37th time. You know, does it deserve to be in the Game Awards? I don't think so. But like Oblivion, for example, didn't get a re-release or a remaster at any point, and it's also that game that is the epitome of what's wrong with the gaming industry nowadays, which is cash shots. So like it 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 was nice to see a game like this. It would be nice to go back, play Snake Eater, things that I didn't get to play, but it's a genre that I think we need to keep separate from the main awards, because sometimes like if you just have a remake, like a remaster, it's the game's the same game. You're just like, we made it 4K. Like, cool, good for you, bud. Whereas like a remake is almost a little bit better, but like the line is always blurred. Where like this is a remaster, but you rebuilt the whole game. It's a remaster. And then this one, they're like, this is a remake. You only made it in 4K. It's a remake. It's like,
Right.
is it?
Yeah,
Did you
because
remake the
honestly,
game?
Oblivion was that game that kind of like it's still not really clarifying the difference between a remake and a remaster. Like
Mhm.
they list themselves as a remaster, but like this game was rebuilt from the ground up on an entirely different engine. It's a
Yep.
remake. Like that is by
Missing
definition a
scenes
remake.
and all.
Mhm.
Re-recorded all. They re-recorded the audio lines and everything and stuff like
Yes.
that. Like,
And then like you look at like Dead Space, right? Dead Space remake from a couple years ago, like, and that was a remake. But like they changed like one level of that entire game apparently,
Mhm.
but it's like everything else was the exact same. It just looked prettier. But that was a remake, and I'm just like, I don't know
wonder if
how.
there's a legal reason for it. Like maybe if like funding or something,
I'd
like
be
you go
really
to the
curious.
bank and everything and stuff. They're like, hey, yeah, we'll give you the money for it, but as long as it's a remake and not a remaster. And they're like, yeah, but what if it's a remaster? Oh, well, just tax benefits if it's just a remaster and not a remake. Like, I wonder if like there's some like paperwork nonsense and that's why they're playing it, because I don't know what else could be like a Metal Gear, like, yes, we know that and everything, but for an Oblivion, like, my first time playing that, like, on the 360, like, when you first get out of the prison, you're like, "Well, where do I go?" And you're like, "Anywhere, motherfucker. Do whatever you need." And it's like, "Oh, really? Cool." But, like, you're playing it now, and then you just hear about all the things that they were either finally able to add or they were able to change or improve in it. And it just a lot of the things that they did, even with like the leveling up system and they added a lot. And I'm just like, okay, that line is extremely blurred if this is what you're calling a remaster. Also, the shadow drop was just appreciated as well. So yeah, shouts to that.
Hell yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't this come out around the same time as Expedition?
Some
Like,
shit like that.
it
Yeah.
was definitely earlier in the year. There was another big game that came out like right around the same time, so like it was really bad timing, even though it
Yeah.
was Shadow Drop, but it still did fairly well. So
And it was like the top selling game, like on everything.
yeah,
Shadow dropped, and it was a of Shadow drop, and of that month, it was the top selling game on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. I was like,
yeah,
yeah, shout out to you guys, well deserved.
yeah. Build it and they will come. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and announce the winner here for Best Remake Remaster of the 2025 Press Start Game Awards, and the winner is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Um, I think this is really well deserved. I actually had to tap into the community because we had split votes again between this and Oblivion, and it came out to be Metal Gear. And just seeing how well this game did really well this year, it just makes me like reaffirm like this is a game that I could actually thoroughly get into because like I have very fond memories of playing through 1 and 2, like getting the invisibility ability in the game after you beat the game was like some of the funnest shit I've ever did in video games. Because then you just start walking around and fucking with all the enemies, like knocking on the walls, like doop, 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 huh? And like you just leave your fucking feet prints in the snow and shit like that, and they're just chasing you. They have no idea, like that you're even there. Or getting the bandolier, like you get a bandana that gives you like unlimited ammo, so you're just walking around the entire
Yep.
game with like an AK-47, just annihilating everybody, and it's like not even fair. So it's like I've had some crazy ass experiences in Metal Gear. Like I've literally spent so much time playing the tank hangar mission in the first game, it's not even funny. Like I spent my entire like hours in the one room just fucking with people. It was just insane. But yeah,
You
man.
gotta love it.
Hell yeah. But Roger, what's your thoughts on Metal Gear winning best remake remaster?
I think it's well deserved because it's a game that I think is it's a part of the zeitgeist of video games. I know I'm using that word a lot lately, but it is one of those games, one of those series that is just crucial to gaming as in general. But like I don't think like it it honestly had to have been one of the more important games in its series, and to get that I think is really important. Like we honestly didn't get remakes of certain Elder Scroll games that I think honestly we should have seen. Whereas we got, we got remakes of games that actually are important and actually are really good. I think like Oblivion, as much as some people loved that game, I don't think it deserved a remake. I think there were other games that deserved remakes better. Like why haven't we seen Daggerfall? Why haven't we seen Morrowind? Why did we get Oblivion? Like it's still playable on many relatively modern consoles. Like the Xbox 360 is only 15 years old, so like
20.
it's still 20, sorry. But when did we
Shit,
move to the Xbox One? 15 years
make
ago?
me feel old. Holy shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like that. Yeah, it's not like
360.
15, yes, roughly around there.
Yeah. The 360 was when we were teens in high school. Like we were still playing on the 360. Whereas like the PS2, we were in the elementary school. Like
Mhm.
the PS1, sorry. The PS1 and PS2. Like
Yep.
that's so this is a game that like some people have never truly got to experience and they will get to. Like
Yep.
I think it's a solid choice.
Hell yeah. And it was interesting to see like some of the changes that they did in this game too, because like normally Metal Gear was told like the entire game was played like more from like a top down perspective in a way.
Bird's eye type shit. Yep.
Where like
Mhm.
in the remake you have the ability to play it that way, or if you want to play it in like third person or first person perspective, which changes the entire fucking like
Yeah.
experience altogether. So like you have two ways to play the game, and like you could play with the top down, or like it's more of like a fixed camera angle, I guess, like because like if you go into a certain area, the camera angle moves to a different spot, kind of like how the old Resident Evil games were played. But yeah, so like that's pretty cool. Like it completely changes the entire experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I think Roger, actually, to piggyback off a couple things you said, the importance of Metal Gear Solid, like if this game actually like getting its remake, while my cat is in the background losing her mind, it's very important because I think not only is it important to the franchise, but I think people also forget where stealth games were at the time. So right before this game came out is when the first Splinter Cell came out. And originally Ubisoft was like, we need something to combat this stealth game. So they were trying to make a sci-fi stealth game. Didn't really work out. They said, hey, Tom Clancy, you doing pretty good over there and everything with your, Rainbow Six and your Ghost Recon. You got anything for us? We like what you do with Splinter Cell. We'll take that book series. We'll try to do something. They dropped Splinter Cell, reviews and everything huge. They're like, hey, this is what stealth games are supposed to be. So these guys, Konami, went back into the studio, cooked up some shit, and dropped this. And
And
this has changed everything.
I want to piggyback you there as well, because like you built a really good argument. Is like, this is where the stealth games were at the time, and the crazy part is they've only gotten worse.
Yes,
That's the
100%.
crazy thing. Like, we're supposed to make things better as it goes, but the innovation has died out from the franchise, and they didn't remake this to make it feel like Metal Gear Solid 4 or whatever it was, where it was just like mission based, where you dropped in with like a loadout and like you did a 30-second mission and then you moved on and redid that mission like 4 or 5 times. No, this was a contiguous stealth mission story. Like, this is what Metal Gear Solid was supposed to be, not what it is today. And it's great that they kept that
It's because they lost Kojima.
truth. Yeah,
Once
exactly.
once Kojima and Konami had their fallout, like Metal Gear has never been the same since.
I think it's also the fact that right after these games came out is where the casual Call of Duty audience came in. So this is now around a time where like Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is now being released. And now you have these studios trying to fight for the casual audience. So immediately after Splinter Cell, you get this Metal Gear. And then after that, you get the very next year, you get Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. Because now they're like, oh shit, let's fast pace this. Release, release, release. And then as you can even see, like you said with Metal Gear, even in Splinter Cell and everything, the regression with the actual stealth aspects, and you can clearly see it when you get to like Splinter Cell Conviction. It's just action based. That's all it is. It's just like shoot 'em up, bang bang bang, and just keep it pushing. Um, and yeah, it's interesting to see just how much that stealth games are no longer stealth games. They wanted it to become so easily accessible to the casual person that they're like, yeah, let's just minimize how much stealth you need it. And then they minimize it so much that they're like, hey, no stealth whatsoever, just shoot it up. And it's like, no.
Yeah, I
So to
mean,
see something like this get its love back is it's fun. It's fun again. It's not even just a flash of the past and everything. But even like when you said for our Oblivion like remake or remaster, whatever they wish to call it, you had said like having Daggerfall or Morrowind come into play. I think the only reason why they didn't do a Morrowind, they should have done Daggerfall. I would love to see that. The only reason why they wouldn't do a Morrowind, I guess, because it's more in recent time. If you play ESO, like Elder Scrolls Online, they had the Morrowind expansion. They said, hey, let's revisit it. I guess that'll be the only thing I'll see in that. But still, I would love a Morrowind remake, remaster, whatever. Give it the same treatment you gave this shit. And just give us Morrowind or Daggerfall. But yeah, shout out to Metal Gear for doing what the hell it did. I know it did have some complications when it first dropped, but just seeing that obviously they want to make money, so they're going to drop this. Regardless, it was just good to come back to it.
Hell yeah. And just a couple of things with like, the stealth genre is like the lack thereof. Splinter Cell is obvious. Like when Splinter Cell's not in the game, like the stealth genre struggles without a doubt. And obviously we know that there's a remake in the works, like the OG is in the works, but like they're struggling with keeping a game designer there. Another one just left recently. But the stealth games that we do get right now is like Hitman games, right? But it ends up being more actiony. Like you kind of plan your assassination, but like it ends up just being guns blazing at that point. But then you see a stealth game
they
like
heard me. Time to kill everyone.
like the Star Wars game from Ubisoft. I'm drawing a blank. Outlaws. Like their stealth aspects of the game were done extremely terrible. Like, yeah.
Hmm.
As soon as you get caught, like mission over, and I'm like, bro, this is no. What are we doing? Like, that's not how that
They hit him
works.
when Ubisoft was like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
It was the wind.
So it's like the stuff, yeah, the stuff category we're getting. Look at Assassin's Creed, for instance. Like, it's all about being brutal. Like, we're Vikings just running around, or like, and I guess in the new one, like you're a samurai and a shinobi, and it's just like you're just brutal. The motherfucker can't even climb the building because he's that big and clumsy. So it's like we're kind
It
of
should
Although
getting
just be Ubisoft Murder Simulator. That's all I'm saying.
more or less at this point.
Although the updates they have been giving to Mirage, man, it makes it so hard for me to stay mad at them. Bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm such a sucker, bro. Like, oh man,
Mirage was good
granted,
though.
just
Like that was where they did good because they returned to their roots.
yeah. And it's insane to even just think about how they were like, hey, we want to go into being more like you said, it's just a regression of shit. When they dropped Assassin's Creed Unity, it was like, hey, guess what? You have a dedicated crouch button now. And I'm like, oh shit, you can crouch in an assassin game? Who would have thought that would ever be a thing? And it's like now you're in a building crouched behind like a couch and everything, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to get seen here and stuff like that. Ah, great. Now my cat's losing her
I
mind
guess
again.
that's one
Um,
DLC that I did forget to add onto the list, but obviously didn't do that well. But that was a valiant
yeah.
memory for Mirage.
Oh, that came out.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, it's just a regression of things. Like after, like you got AC Unity. It just went down
Yep.
immediately after that. What was it? Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
I
It's
love
like,
that game.
okay, now we're Batman with a grapple hook and everything and stuff like that.
I
And
love that
then
game
after
though.
that, it's like, hey, we're in Egypt and stuff. Like, there's no need to hide. We're in Egypt. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
They've definitely been all over
oh
the
man.
place. They kind of lost their way, but hopefully with the remake of Black Flag, it can hopefully get the franchise back in order. But
And Assassin's Creed Hex. I have high hopes for that
I
game.
mean, Black Flag still isn't stealth.
yeah,
It's the opposite of it, shooting cannons at
yeah,
people.
from a boat. Yeah.
Cannons to the left.
All right, so let's go ahead move on to our next category of the evening. I think we had like 6 more to get through, so let's go ahead and check it out. Next up, we got best new IP. I know this is a kind of on a bit of a controversial category that we have, given like what determines what's in like best new IP, because like are they going to be keeping the IP around to make future iterations of the game, or like for like split fiction, Roger? I know you brought up the concept of like it's not really they don't really do a new IP. They just kind of build like a new co-op game. So like it's not going to be a new IP per se, but like I don't know. It's definitely an interesting category to talk about, because like obviously we talked about Expedition 33 where they do have future iterations, future plans on that, but like and then like my idea with including Avowed was really interesting because like Avowed is part of the Pillars of Eternity IP, but like this is its new spin-off of that one. So like is it a new IP? Like are they going to do like just a
Is it
Avowed
a new
specific?
vein of games, or is it just telling the overall story in here? Like, where
Yeah.
do we go from here with it?
So it's always going to be a really interesting category for sure, but a lot of enjoyable games here. Shout out to Game Pass for I think 3 of these. But yeah, I kick it to you, Attorney. What's your thoughts on the best new IP category in these games here?
Uh, God, shit. Just to touch on that real quick with a vow thing. Yeah. It's one of the more interesting things because we all kind of shout out to Obsidian. They have a great history and stuff, and they kind of made one. We have a great game called Fallout, and Obsidian was like, yeah, sure, we'll go ahead and do another game there and stuff like that. They accidentally made the boss, to me at least, the best Fallout. So like they have a tendency of just like like, oh, hey BioWare, you got a cool game with there with Knights of the Republic. We'll make Knights of the Republic Part 2, and it's just like, holy hell, we got Darth Nihilus now. Like
Hmm.
they have a tendency of just taking things and being able to just improve them and just make them better. They just have a better, I guess, sight of just what things could be.
And we see with their own
So
IPs, like with Outer Worlds to Outer Worlds 2, that improvement, and then Grounded to Grounded 2 was an incredible leap.
exactly, and I even feel like with Avowed, I pray we do get a sequel, primarily because what we did get, it's kind of a like a, hey, are you interested? If so, imagine
We'll
what
do a
it
little
could
bit
be.
better next time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I feel like Outer Worlds 2 is kind of like the
the example.
perfect thing of that. It's like Outer Worlds 1 was like, hey, this is actually a pretty decent sized game, but it wasn't long at all and
You
stuff.
finished it
But
and you were like, "Oh shit, that's it," and they were like, "Oh shit, you like that? Ah, fuck."
Come on.
We'll fix it
And then
later.
hence
they
we
were
got
like,
and then we got two
oops,
big ass expansions that were phenomenal. Like I heard they were like 10 out of 10 fucking expansions on that.
yeah, it's like you run to the back of the kitchen. It's like, you got any more of that tortellini? It's like, no, I don't. My bad, man. This is the wrong line.
Nah, man, I'm sorry.
It's like, oh shit. So I feel like Avowed was literally that same exact thing. It's like, we're gonna give you just enough and everything to see if you like it, and if you do hook on it, then fine, fuck it. Here's the real big hitter. And like, mind you, they are just pumping out games. Like they dropped 3 things this year. One of them's a live service. Like they're working their asses off. And then we got like South of Midnight. Like holy hell, the
Mhm.
music in that game, the artistic style within it. I mean, we've already touched on Expedition 2,000 times today and everything. Split Fiction, just the way that I love how he tells story. I love how he's like the creative dude's like anti-establishment. Like
Yep.
like I just love him so much. And Arc Raiders, I can't get enough of, man. Like that's just a game. That's just a game that keeps on giving. As like I said earlier today, is that game that like it's as serious as you want it to be. You can just go be a dummy and everything. There's a guy in the game that goes around. He just shoots people just to down them, and then he's like, "And welcome to the game show." And like if you answer 3 questions correctly, he'll revive you and give you something of worth, and just let you walk away. Like the game is just whatever you make it out to be, and it's truly amazing. So shout out to all the games with a new IP. It definitely is kind of hard, because just because it's a new IP doesn't necessitate that it'll be a franchise. But regardless, they are still new
New
IPs.
IPs.
So yeah.
That's fair. Roger, what's your thoughts on this category?
I think this year we had a lot of new stuff, and it goes to show that people can still be creative. People can still come up with new ideas, and I'm excited because it's not the same slop. And we can see the fact that, like, even the new things coming out this year are challenging our acceptance of what we have now. Like, we talked about it earlier. Call of Duty's fucking scared, man.
Mhm.
And they have right to be, man. They should be. And these new IPs are the reason why. We see that single player games are not dead and they will not die. Like everyone loves single player games. And I think our list goes to show that that's what most of that is, or like they're story games. Like even if they aren't single player, like for example, Split Fiction has to be played with 2 people. Like,
Mhm.
but it's still like that narrative experience is what people want.
Hell yeah. And it was just great to see like a lot of different like storytelling too, and just like what could be a new franchise based on these new IPs, like South of Midnight, like that storytelling of the deep dark south, like, and really what happened, and like some of the darker story, like childhood stories that you were told growing up and stuff like that, like told in a different perspective and like in a much darker tone as well. You're just like fuck, like it's definitely very thought provoking, and it just was really fucking dope. And just like Avowed was like a really cool spin off of like being based on the Pillars of Eternity game, because Pillars of Eternity is more of like the I believe more of like a CRPG, like it's more of like top down run around shit like that. What kind of like Baldur's Gate in a way, but it's like
It is.
that's
It's the
not
same
my
thing.
style game. Where like Avowed was more my style game, and the fact that you could play it first person or third person, however you wanted to play it, was really cool. You could bounce it back and forth for however you want to do it. And then like obviously we know the juggernaut of Expedition 33. But yeah, I mean Split Fiction was really fucking phenomenal. Like Hazelight Studio does a great job of their just co-op experiences. Like A Way Out was really
Yeah.
dope. I still got to play It Takes Two, but Split Fiction looks really fucking dope. Just to like
Tremendous
have
game.
like 2 different worlds rendering at the same time, more or less, is really dope. Like we see that now. Like that's a next gen type of feature.
Not
And
only
Yeah.
that, the fact that you both are playing on each other's screen and
yeah,
like you could walk across an open pit on their screen because you don't see an open pit.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
crazy.
question: are they still doing the thing that if one buys it, then the other person gets it?
Yep.
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 Okay, because I have to say I should have brought this also up when we talked about like the best indie games. The one thing that I do love that these new indie studios are doing is that they're not only are they like you were saying earlier, like they're kind of going against kind of like what mainstream AAA studios are doing. They're fighting against the idea of what exactly the consumer or what exactly you receive as a consumer. And primarily being such as, hey, if you buy this game, you get a second pretty much copy of it for free for the person that you're going to play with.
Mhm.
And it's not
And
necessarily that they get the copy, but they get the access to it and
and it's
everything.
not just for one person. It's for whoever you want to play it with, however many times. Like
Yes.
one person could buy this game and everyone in the world could play that game off of the single copy because that person plays with whoever they want. And the fact that
Yep.
like we're subverting the idea that like it's one copy to one person. It is one copy for one experience. And that experience can be you and your friend, you and your other friend, you and your spouse. Like
Mhm.
it's the same thing with Jackbox, for example. You're paying for the experience to be shared.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think also to continue with that thought about like how they're combating what we think of it is also the simple fact that in a world of where now games are $70 to $90, the games that have been kicking ass this whole year has been on an average of $40 a piece.
Yep.
Hmm.
Like they're telling you, hey, and here's the even amazing part too. It's just hilarious to see that the most financially successful games have been so far these $40 games. Now, obviously, you're gonna have your outliers, such as like a Call
Call
of
of
Duty.
Duty, yeah.
We already know Call of Duty is just always gonna be
And
Call of Duty. We've
Battlefield.
seen people say, like we even see people say like, oh, Battlefield's gonna outsell Call of Duty and everything and stuff. And it's like it's two different audiences to sit there, but even with that, even with the argument of audience, regardless, if you give the people what they want, such as an experience as like a split fiction, something you could just sit down and just play with either a spouse. Like It Takes Two. It's a great game to play with your spouse and everything and stuff. You could just get frustrated at trying to figure out puzzles and everything. And they're like, "Oh, you're always screwing something up." And it's like, "No, no, no, no." Or like if you just want to play by yourself and everything and have just a great story and everything, you have your South at Midnight. Or if you want that multiplayer experience and everything and stuff, you have your Arc Rated. Like these indie studios or even indie games or just new IPs are doing something that's challenging both the industry and also the publishers. So I love that.
Hell yeah. Without further ado, let's go ahead and reveal the winner of Best New IP for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. And the winner is none other than Expedition 33. Just a walk in the park. Just because, like, the. We've already talked about how great the game is and the mechanics and the story and the stuff like that. But, like, the fact that this game could be what me and Roger were alluding to, like, when it comes down to new IP, is like, new IP, like, is this going to breathe in? Like, is this going to become a new franchise? Is when sometimes when we think of new IPs, and this is the one where like this could generally be have the best possibility of becoming a new franchise. And we understand like a best new IP could be anything. It could be a one off, and it kind of just works because it is still an intellectual property. But like how we would kind of like look at it is like which one is the best new one that could also then become a franchise. And out of these 5 games, Expedition 33, I think, was a clear cut winner on this one just because of like the endless possibilities of just storytelling within this universe. But Roger, looks like you're nodding ahead with agreement. What's your thoughts, man?
This game to me left me wanting more. I want to know more around it. I want to know more of what's going on. Like I Expedition 33 left me sitting here going, there's a bigger world. It, not everyone watches anime, but I think if you're an anime watcher, you've seen Hunter x Hunter. And if you've seen Hunter x Hunter, you kind of finish the show and you sit there and the main character finally gets to see his dad and he talks with his dad and he's like, "Where have you been?" And his dad's like, "Out there." And you're looking at it and it turns out they're like ants in this world beyond their own view. The fact that you finish Expedition 33 and you realize you're just ants, you're just cogs in a machine, and that God is actually bigger than you think. God to you is actually just a race of beings that have a god above them. So like the fact that you are so much further down the totem pole that you thought. The things that you feared in that game were nothing more than the machinations and imaginations of something just bigger than you.
Absolutely
I just
incredible. That was beautifully told. I don't know if intern you can follow that one up there, but any thoughts on
I
Expedition 33
definitely
winning
cannot, and
this?
I think that sums it up pretty much. In church IP, I mean, like, I guess same as like when I had argued for Lies of P last year, when I was talking to people about like just like new IPs, like what a way to introduce your studio to the world. Like just amazing. I don't think you can argue against what the game has to offer in any aspect. Um, it's just amazing. Yeah, it's one of those games where it's an experience that you don't want to be robbed of. It's truly something you should play, and also the special edition is on sale. Amazon, go ahead
Yep.
and pre-order that. I think it comes out what, like next week or something like that.
Yeah, it's being shipped out on the 15th.
Yes, yeah. So don't let that
Yep.
go. Go
I already
ahead
got
and
mine pre-ordered.
yeah, you go ahead and you get that and stuff, and experience that game as it's supposed to be and everything, and just I don't want to ruin anything for you. You will enjoy it. You will truly enjoy it. Similar to how when Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I'll play it." Then they bought it, like, "Oh, this is the type of game it is." But they stuck with it, and they're like, "Oh, this is an experience type thing and stuff." And they ended up loving it, even though they don't play those types of games. It's one of those things. You may not be into a turn-based thing. You may not be into maybe a darker story and stuff like that. But I promise you, if you give it a chance and everything, it will be something you'll walk away from being happy and glad that you gave it a shot.
Hell yeah. All right. Congratulations to Expedition 33 on winning yet another award in our show for Best New IP. But let's go ahead and move on to our next category here, which is Best Ongoing Game, which the winner actually genuinely surprised me because I thought there was two juggernauts in this category and two just like I'm here kind of categories. But shocking to see the winner here. But I mean, No Man's Sky, I feel like is on our podcast episode every single week, or at least once a month, because they have some new massive update, and it's just how the fuck did they keep creating the amount of content that they do for that game is beyond me. And it's been like 8 years or however long it's been since the OG first came out. Um, and the fact that they still have another game in the works, which is like on the same kind of scale, just on one planet as opposed to multiple planets, but it's just as big, if not bigger, on one planet. I don't know how the hell they're doing it. It's making my brain hurt thinking about their concept of their game. But yeah, No Man's Sky is the game that keeps on giving. The redemption arc that we talk about is endless. It's incredible. Then we had Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like, the Fortnite is the metaverse. It is a game that has constant flow of content, new crossovers, new events, new. You could play Guitar Hero in the game. You want to play Mario Kart in the game. You could play no build everything. It just the game just does whatever you want to do. You could drive the fucking revive van around now. I just saw. I'm just like, this is insane. Like, knowing what Fortnite was when I first started playing when PUBG first dropped to where it is now is a completely different game. It's incredible. And then obviously we know Helldivers 2, and just the meta gaming in that is insane. Like with the community talks on Twitter and like and whatnot, it's pretty dope to see the content flow with Helldivers 2, and then Marvel Rivals. Like low key, really over here, I wanted to put in our Discord channel like dead game, because I feel like it's a dead game in my opinion. But they still do keep adding tons of content. I guess there are a bunch of people that still play the game. Um, but yeah, those are the four games that we got in this category. Inhuman, what's your thoughts on these four games with this category, man?
Oh God, I guess I'll go in order just like you did. Holy shit! What are they? What are they? Hello Games? Is that the name of the studio?
Yeah, I believe so.
For No
Yeah.
Man's Sky, we get it. You said sorry. We fucking get it, bro. Y'all refuse to stop making content, and I'm happy for the people who are playing it. Oh, but like we get it. You apologized. We heard you. But shout out to y'all. I'm really excited for the fantasy game that you were speaking of. That it's gonna be they're taking that whole galaxy and just like shrinking it down, but not shrinking it down because it's a planet and it's going to take just as long to get from one side to another. Like it's kind of like when you first experience Minecraft for the first time and you're like, oh, I can just keep walking. And it's like, yeah, just don't drop your map. But yeah, you can keep walking if you want. And so I'm just
Yeah,
like,
good luck.
oh, this doesn't stop. And so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how they kind of push that forward and everything. But with No Man's Sky, just today, some guy ended up on a planet that literally looked like hell,
Yep.
and he's riding some weird creature that I've never seen in the game before. I'm
Yep.
like, what the fuck is that? And but again, like I said,
Yeah, I
hell
saw the
get
same
me get
post
it.
and I was just like, "You mean Mustafar?" I was like,
Yeah,
my inner
yeah,
Star Wars had to
he's
say
the
it.
friend. I hate you, Obi-Wan.
No, someone
But
what did they recreate? I think it was in Helldivers too. Someone like they were on some planet that looked like Mustafar as well, and they did the whole reenactment of like Obi-Wan versus Anakin. They're like, hey, Anakin, I have the high ground. Then he like goes up to attack him. He's like, and kills him. He falls down into the lava at the bottom. I was like, this is epic. I love it.
You gotta love it, man. So it's like shout out to that. And then okay, we'll go next in line like you did with Fortnite. It is the metaverse. If you want to build like Minecraft, they have the Lego stuff. If you want to go ahead and race, you could race, play your Guitar Hero and everything. If you like Counter Strike, like
Mhm.
they have a mode in there just like, and it's actually really fun. I think what I was like Diamond 2 or some shit like that or whatever. Like it's extremely fun. Like it really is. Just the amazing things that you can do in that game. And it's still technically in its beta or whatever. But it is very fun. Helldivers 2, I came back to it when they did the ODST crossover.
Mhm.
And I had a blast. I do have a issue with just like after a while I kind of feel samesies
Mhm.
and stuff, and like don't get me wrong, I still have a blast playing it, but I could probably go through maybe around like 5 rounds, and then after that, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm tapped out. I'm gonna go play something else. But the game is still fun as ever. The gameplay loop will still keep you going if you are that grindy person like that. I think I'm just kind of growing out of that maybe for myself. And then Marvel Rivals is like, yeah, pro team just announced that they're dropping and they're going to be pulling out of the competitive scene. I completely forgot there was a competitive scene for Marvel Rivals, but they did officially announce, and it wasn't Cloud9, it was someone else, but it's a big org and everything. They officially pull out, but it still has a crazy casual player base. Like they are always playing it. People are having fun. People are still grinding ranked. But at the same time, when you have one of the goats in FPS games like Formal being ranked number 2 in the world and shit at a time is like it kind of gets a little weird and everything. How one of the greatest Call of Duty and Halo players can be ranked number 2 in your game. Um, but shout out to Marvel Rivals. You guys did your thing. Obviously you're on this list, so yeah, if you are one of the best ongoing games, I guess. But we'll see how ongoing you will be next year.
Hell yeah. And Roger, what's your thoughts on these games in this category here?
I honestly think that there was one that stands above the rest. Don't get me wrong, there were games that we didn't include in this that maybe should have been, like, for example, World of Warcraft might have still been one maybe we should
Mhm.
include. Like, they
Yeah.
finally just
They had
a
a
few
new
weeks ago dropped their
new
player housing, which had been a requested feature for over 18 years. Like, so it's definitely it goes to show that, like, if you make a good game, you can make a game that lasts. If you make a bad game,
It'll die. Like
yeah.
Concord. Oops, did I say that
What
word?
game? I
or
don't
Said
remember this
not.
game.
Anthem. Unfortunately, the servers are being shut down in January.
Chill,
RIP.
chill, chill, chill. Chill, chill, chill. I still got a sealed copy of that game.
But yeah, man. Without further ado, let's go ahead and reveal the winner for best ongoing game, and the winner is Marvel Rivals, the surprise winner here, in my opinion. I thought there was a clear. There it is, the Anthem sealed copy. But yeah, man, I thought it was clear and obvious. So it had to have been between No Man's Sky and just Fortnite, just because the amount of content, the quality of content, and just how many people play it and just the impact of both of those games. Just I thought there was more of a clear and obvious winner, but it's great to see that certain people like certain other games than others. And I mean, this game was on there for a reason. Like I did play this game a little bit when it first came out. I know both of you guys were playing it a lot when it first came out. Um, but it's just like it's tough for me to get into. Like I've always struggled with the whole hero shooter like this. Like it's Overwatch basically. We know that, and it's just like if I can't kill somebody one on one, then it's just weird. Like I shouldn't need someone else to come help me kill somebody because I'm a different class than this. It don't make sense to me. It's weird. But it just really comes down to the team based aspect of it. But like if my team sucks, then it really sucks that I can't carry the team, even though I'm really fucking good at the game. Like I just it's always been a tough concept for me to grasp, but nonetheless, shout out to Marvel Rivals and winning it, and hopefully they continue to put out great content. I mean, there's endless amounts of content that they can add to this, and events that they can do, and just what they can do in this game. They have a lot going for them. But Roger, what's your thoughts on Marvel Rivals winning this one here?
I was a little surprised as well. I honestly, I voted for the game that wasn't up my alley, but I voted for it because I knew like it has my respect as much as I dislike it. Fortnite would have probably been like the clearer choice in my mind, but that's me, you know. I definitely don't think Marvel Rivals is like the labor of love, but it definitely didn't die, which is nice to see. The hero shooter that it's nice when a game causes another game to go, oh shit, maybe we may actually need to like care, because Overwatch was like, shit, everyone's gone,
How do we get
everyone's
everybody
leaving.
back?
What do we
Yeah,
do?
and they did make some quality of life changes and brought people back. And it's not
Hmm.
necessarily a dead game, but Overwatch 2 is still booming as well.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Eternity?
I think it's hilarious when a game could come in and make another game to say, fuck, we kind
We
of
screwed up.
just grew complacent and stuff. So once again, shout out to Battlefield 6. But yeah, when Marvel Rivals dropped, it was very interesting just how quickly like Overwatch was like, oh yeah, we should probably do something. Oh, you guys like third person? Let's make a whole third person mode. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Mhm.
Wait,
But
hold up.
yeah. Now one thing is like I do got to give to Marvel Rivals. Uh, they not only have the fact that there's an actual comic book series that is, in run for this, so you could kind of just God bless you.
Thank you.
So you could kind of just like read if you want and just see what's going on there. But the fact that this game, one, it is a game that is like, hey, listen, everyone gets the character, everyone can play it and everything. Everyone gets access to this stuff, and you can still get shit on no matter how good the character is. It's kind of like one of the cool things about the game. Now it is a game that like I'll probably jump on maybe like once a week at best, probably once every 2 weeks. But it is a game nonetheless that if you do have a good solid team with you and you do know what the hell you're doing, like you will live and die by your team.
Yeah.
And so shout out to the game for winning this award. Hopefully they continue to do what they do. They are doing their best to try to keep things balanced, but as you continue to add more characters and add more abilities, I don't know how that will manage well. It'll end up just being copy and paste of abilities, and which one you interest like visually more. But shout out to the game and what it's doing and stuff. I do pray that they continue to expand. One of the things that did kind of kill the game also, for me, was the fact that once I kind of somewhat made a full switch to PC, I couldn't bring my profile over. So now
Oh.
after I done already bought everything on console and made, bought the battle passes and I bought all these skins and shit like that, I can't carry nothing over to PC. I have to create a new profile. Not doing it. And apparently they're not switching that until later on in the season that they're gonna add that you can actually do that. Kind
Yeah.
of a little too late.
Yeah, day late and a
So
dollar short on that one.
yeah, shout out to X Defiant, they did the same shit. So,
Oh, I miss that game. I do think about that game from time to time. Like, man, I had fun playing that bitch.
that shit's still in my library.
I just can't play it. But yeah, again, shout out to Marvel Rivals on winning Best Ongoing Game in the 2025 Press Start Game Awards. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move on to our next category here, and we got best new multiplayer game. So how we kind of break down our multiplayer categories is like multiplayer. We look at more of like a competitive scene, like you're competing to win, not necessarily
Mm.
playing cooperative games, which we do have a category for that. Um, but yeah, this was a solid list, man, because like each game had brought its own different take on just having fun and playing with friends, and obviously 5 of the 6 of these are shooters, minus the one racing game, which could have easily got swapped out for the other racing game that won the best racing game. But just the overall impact, like Mario Kart World helped sell the Switch 2, like without a doubt. Like having that as a launch title helped sell it, whether the game was good or not. The game was super impactful. Um, and then just looking at Battlefield 6 and how much of an impact that has had on the FPS genre in general. We talked about it earlier. It has made Black Ops 7, let's do some shit. Let's listen to the community and do what they're asking. I mean, Black Ops 7 is on this list as well because like they've done really fucking well with their multiplayer. They gave us the whole playlist where or all your playlists are basically non-skill based matchmaking focus. Like they're just like the classic COD, and then like the lobbies don't disband at the end of the match, so you can keep playing in a really good lobby. If you're in a fucking you're getting curb stomped, just leave the lobby, start a new one. So like there's a little bit of everything for that. Arc Raiders was a phenomenal game. I mean, like I feel like that game keeps getting bigger by the week. um but then I remember when Delta Force dropped, I was calling it the Timo Battlefield. But I know in human or intern, you were playing a lot of Delta Force. I had a lot of fun there. And then Ready or Not, man, last game here on the list. That was a different take. It reminded me a lot of like the Rainbow Siege kind of gameplay here, just a little bit more realistic in a lot of ways. But I had a lot of people hit me up like, "Yo, have you played Ready or Not yet?" I have not, still have not, but I do know that a lot of people thoroughly enjoy this game. It's just there's a little bit of everything for everyone. It just depends on what you're looking to play, and that's what's great about this, and just being able to play games with friends and a group of friends, whether it's 4-man squads in Battlefield, 6-man teams in Black Ops 7. It just all depends. You just never know what you're going to get. But kick it to you, Eternity first. I know this is one of your favorite categories here. You play a lot of these games, you follow a lot of them. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah. Well, shout out to you. For Battlefield 6. Um. So if you put that out there right there and everything, shout out to you. It was a blast when it first dropped, and I felt like it only just kind of got better. I do feel as though my views on the game are skewed. The very last Battlefield that I actually played and put time into it was Battlefield 4, and
Oof.
then I played the beta for Battlefield Hardline,
Oh
and then
man.
I haven't touched Battlefield ever since then. My dad's a huge Battlefield guy, but he's also a huge Call of Duty guy as well. So he kind of enjoyed it. To him, Battlefield 6 was like, oh my god.
Hmm.
For me, because the last taste of Battlefield I had was Battlefield 4. To me, I'm like, no, don't get me wrong, guys. Yeah, I'm having a blast, but I don't think it's like as world changing. But I didn't go through the years of
All
nonsense
right.
that other Battlefield
It's
fans
like
had to
stop playing
go.
COD and Black Ops 2 and don't touch it until like Black Ops 7. Like that's how dramatically different of Call of Duty that you are going through.
Yeah, to me, it's like, hey, it kind of just feels like an improved thing of the last thing I played. It's a return to form. But other people are like, no, you don't understand what we had to go through for the past. I'm like,
Fuck.
I get it, guys. You ain't have a scoreboard, cool. But
Yep.
like, no, Battlefield 6 though, like, tremendous. It was amazing, or is amazing and stuff. And then even with the addition of Red Sec and everything, like it continues to give. Granted, there are some bugs in it, but regardless, it's fun. The play loop is great and everything. I definitely enjoy it. Mario Kart is where it is. Arc Raiders again is that game that continues to just give. Maybe what, like a month and a half into the game, there was a freaking civil war between streamers, and that was a rough time trying to get any loot in that game whatsoever. Um, but it was a blast. The winter update is coming, so we're gonna get snow map and stuff like that. So that's amazing. Call of Duty, like you said, shout out to Battlefield for keeping Call of Duty on its toes.
Mhm.
They have to do a lot of stuff. I do love the fact that lobbies do not break anymore. So if you talk shit, you still have to see me. And if you leave, then I just win by default if you leave the lobby. That's just how I see it, and I will not see it any other way. Ready or Not, I felt like it was a game that I felt like the light kind of got snuffed out pretty quick,
Mhm.
only because like once like Delta Force, what did it drop? Like I think like a week after or 2 weeks after
Yeah,
for
something like that.
console,
Yeah.
some nonsense like that. Yeah, so I feel like it kind of everybody was like, "Oh yeah, let's go check out this game." Like, "Oh wait, this one dropped too. Let's go check out this one." And a lot of people stood on Delta Force because you kind of it's a free game that you get to escape from Tarkov feel from it if you play one mode, but then you also get the Battlefield feel for it if you play the other. And I truly enjoy its Battlefield mode a lot. It's very more arcade like than it's an arcade Battlefield 6 pretty much.
Mhm.
And I definitely enjoy the abilities of each character and stuff like that. Um, on my side YouTube channel that I have and stuff, my Delta Force video is actually one of the best performing ones there is too. So like the game truly is honestly fun. But shout out to all the multiplayer games that made it to this list. They all have something to offer for everybody. And yeah, it's actually been a very, very favorable year for multiplayer players.
Oh yeah. Roger, any thoughts on this category for us?
I this year I felt like we finally had a return to form for multiplayer games that were good. Like we were getting slop year after year, hand over hand, and it's tiring. It really is. Because it's like people are like, "Oh man, you get the new Call of Duty?" No, fuck no, dude. Why would I play that shit? It's absolute garbage. Like this year it was like, "Oh shit, like Zombies feels good. You know, you have all these other things to play. Battlefield's awesome again. Like, we don't have flying vehicles that don't make sense because people already are cheating. Like, it just felt good this year to play some multiplayer games. And it wasn't just that. Like, we had new arrivals into a market that everyone else thinks that they like have a cornered, and they're like, wait, you mean we're not the best in this? It just felt good this year.
Yeah, and shout out to Battlefield with their anti-cheating system, man, because it has
Mhm.
done a phenomenal job, and like they just been trying to work with all the console like with PlayStation and Xbox, like how to make sure you keep these cheaters off your consoles and stuff like that. Like their anti-cheat system is badass. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and reveal the winner of Best New Multiplayer Game of the 2025 Press Start Game Awards, and the winner is Battlefield 6. Good night, baby. I love you.
We
Um,
love you too.
but yeah, Battlefield 6, man, just the impact that it had on just the games industry for especially in the shooter industry. Like you were saying, it kept Call of Duty on its toes. Like Call of Duty is the biggest game, and it has been the biggest game since like
Mhm.
07, or I would say at least. So it's just the number one selling game every year is Call of Duty, except for like every once in a blue moon, like when you get Hogwarts Legacy or GTA 5 re-release. Like you just never know what you're
Anytime
gonna
a
get.
Rockstar game comes out or Magic is involved, that's the only time Call of Duty's
Yeah.
not number one selling.
Yeah, so shout out to Battlefield 6, man, and I'm really enjoying. I just started the campaign too of Battlefield 6, which I heard it hasn't been the greatest campaign, but like so far I'm enjoying it. Like it's not too bad. Like how it just throws you right into the fucking shit. Like I do like the premise of the story, like how like NATO's falling apart, and then like they're getting replaced by like this private militia, and you're just like, that's probably a bad idea. Like just off rip, like personally thinking, I'm like, that's not a good idea. But okay, if that's what you want to do, then you're going to have to
And
pay for
it
the
feels
repercussions.
oddly reminiscent of the
Real
real
world,
world.
yes.
Like crazy.
Yeah, I was like, it's a little too fucking real right now, but it's been fun. But like, I've recorded some videos. I took some like in-game captures of some bad things I've been experiencing, like a lot of pop in, pop out. Like you can see the helicopter flying and it like disappears, but then it like reappears over here, and I'm like, yeah, that's not how that's supposed to work. Like it's just a lot of glitches and like shit that like you could tell they didn't put any effort into like cleaning that stuff up
Hmm.
in the story. And then like some of the dialogue, I'm like, yeah, no, like that's what are we, like two? Like I don't know. Am I talking to my daughter right now? Because that's how bad this conversation is. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, so the campaign, I could definitely see where it's rough around the edges, but like overall, like getting from point to point, the missions itself, like sniping and just being guns blazing and just working together as a team. If you go down, you can get revived, like if you were playing like multiplayer and stuff like that. So, you know, it's all right. But nonetheless, shout out to Battlefield 6 on winning this award. But do you guys have any thoughts on best new multiplayer game?
Well deserved.
Hell yeah.
You didn't just win this because you are a great game. You won this because you quite literally are making the industry think twice.
Hell yeah. You're saving that genre without a
Hell
doubt.
yeah.
One
Bullet by
fucking.
bullet.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how we split off this category into best co-op game. Um, and this one was a lot of fun, man, because like just look at these games that probably wouldn't normally get nominated if we don't split this category into the way we did. Um, I played quite a few of these games. There's a lot of games that I'm like, man, I can't wait to play. A lot of bangers here, honestly, and I mean, let's just start with Peak. Like when Peak first came out, you're just like, this game fucking blew up. There was like well over 1 million players at one point. This game was massive. I didn't think I was going to play it, but you know, Roger and Jeff Slugs were like, "Yo, come on, man, let's play." I was like, "All right." So I got it, download it, and yeah, we play from time to time, and it's just like a lot of fun, and just the constant updates and the new maps and the new biomes and shit like that. It's really a dope ass game. And then we've been talking about Split Fiction a lot tonight and how great that has been. And we mentioned Grounded too quite a few times throughout this episode, and it hasn't been nominated for any awards until now. It's basically built on everything the first game did, but made it better, it seems. And that's a lot to go by because I struggled with the first game playing with Roger and our other group of friends, and it's just like never beat it because like how it just seemed really unoptimized and like just clunky in a lot of ways, and just the difficulty spikes were really terrible. So hopefully Grounded 2 rounds off that edges. But Borderlands 4 looks like it's returned to the roots on that one, and I'm really looking forward to that. Just want to eventually beat 3. I've started it twice now, and I've not beaten it. It may be one day. But
One day.
Lego Voyagers looks like one of those chill co-op games that I really want to sit down and play with somebody. I am a Lego. I've loved Lego since I could remember, as far back. Like I used to build them shits every day, all day long. But yeah, this looks like a really fun, enjoyable experience to play. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza. This game has been doing
It's
numbers over there.
bananas.
It's bananas over there. It's
It's
doing its work
fucking
over there.
bananas.
Yeah, it's doing its thing over there on the Nintendo Switch too. So this was a really solid category and really honestly tough to choose from. But Roger, I'm gonna kick it to you here on this one because this is, I know, one of your favorite categories here.
Honestly, if I played Lego Voyagers, I might have a different opinion. But like it feels like there's a clear-cut winner, and I definitely am just gonna wait to talk more after we discuss who did win.
What's your thoughts, Eternity?
Oh god. Well, for Grounded, I do gotta say, man, that game was a blast. If what I already did, if what I already played was the end of the game, I pray it's not. It kind of felt like it was here's like the first arc of the game, which is more than enough. But you can quite literally, for what they give you in the story, you can finish that portion of the story without touching all parts of the map. Like you can easily do that. Um, yeah, I had a blast. I had a blast with that. I have what I think 4 in my world. I have 4 different bunkers, and they're all for just different shit. One of them is literally just to keep harvesting blueberries, uh, just cause. And it's also just so we can continue just to just farm bumblebees. If you get enough bumblebee fur and everything, you can make the fuzzy outfit, so you can last longer inside the ice biome. Oh, there goes my cat jumping around. So yeah, you
Special
go. It's just
guest.
pretty much, yeah. Special guest Lydia. But yeah, the ice biome was quite literally just the ice cream truck, and it's just tipped over. So
Mm.
yeah, if you kill enough bumblebees, you can make the fuzzy outfit and go ahead and do that. So yeah, the game's a blast. Borderlands 4 is one of those games that it is fun, But if you weren't into the series before, I don't know if this game will get you into it
Mm.
unless you have a team. And if you're playing as a group, like your buddy's like, yo, let's just try this out. Yeah, you'll probably have a blast and everything and stuff. But I don't know if it's that for everybody. And of course, Donkey Kong. Shout out to Donkey Kong. I did not play Voyagers, and Split Fiction is what it is. That game is quite amazing.
Hell yeah. So without further ado, let's announcing the winner here, best co-op game for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards, and the winner is none other than Split Fiction. So Roger, I know you had a lot to say about this one, so I'm gonna kick it right to you because I know you thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Split Fiction was one of those games that, just like every other game from this developer, it made me passionate about the industry. And not only that, this game also took on the zeitgeist and grabbed it and said, fuck yeah, we want you to feel it. And that is the anti AI sentiment that's building for good reason, but it literally was an anti-AI sentiment that's like, all we're going to do is we're going to steal all these ideas from these people with this machine, and then we're going to just churn out slop after slop after slop, and we don't have to pay creatives anymore to do that. And that was the entire premise of the game, but they don't tell it that way. They tell it so eloquently in a way that if you're a smart reader, a smart intellectual behind it, you can see the message they're truly trying to tell you. It's a love letter to themselves and a love letter to the creatives that they know around them. It tells you, as a creative, your voice matters. You're irreplaceable. AI is just going to turn out the same slop over and over again. It can't innovate because all it does is use itself to build, whereas like only people can truly think of brand new concepts. Otherwise it's just the same rehashing of the same things we have. And I think this game was that game. And not only that, it did it in a way where like both players mattered. It wasn't like Donkey Kong where one player is just sort of along for the ride having fun, but like you can't play the game without the other person. They matter. Peak, you can play by yourself. It doesn't need to be play multiplayer. Like so many of these games are multiplayer adjacent. They're co-op adjacent. Like the only one that comes close is really Lego Voyagers, where it is two people. It is two bricks trying to travel around. And like if I had played it, I'd have more of an opinion on it. I'm excited to play it, but it's just I think Split Fiction was the game for me this year. If it weren't for
Expedition.
who I think deserves Game of the Year,
Yeah,
this game would have been Game of the Year.
it's fair. What's your thoughts, attorney?
You summed it up. This game deserves it. This game deserves it. All praise that's given to it is well deserved, and I don't think anything is being over exaggerated whatsoever. The writing in it, it's just how you said the whole thing of AI, and you can literally tell. Like, for those of you who don't know the studio, please do yourself a favor, look into the man behind that curtain and what he's known for and just who he is. He is quite the open person and how he chooses to speak and how he chooses to express his mind. And I feel as though this game is another step into his mind and what he truly believes of the horrors that can come from if you allow just the establishment to just cut corners in trying to uh
Steel.
steal and be the creative that they think they are when they're truly not. So yeah, well deserved best co-op game. Yeah, shout out to you guys.
And fun fact, real quick, for Split Fiction, the two girls that you play as the main character are named after the two daughters of the main developer. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Epic.
All right, guys. So we're down to our last two categories. First of which is the game of the year, and then we're gonna finish off the the show with the most anticipated game of 2026. So we're gonna move on here to game of the year. We have talked a ton about all six of these games since they've been in numerous categories throughout the show. We could talk about these games all night long. It's just it's really tough to sit here and try to go, damn, how do I pick which one wins this award? Because these games are basically 10 out of 10s. So how do you decipher between 10 out of 10s? Like and it really comes down to like just that emotional connection that you really, which one connected with you the most, and which one had the biggest impact, which one made you talk about it the most and stuff like that. And that's really what it comes down to. And it's really awesome to see that I would say most of these games here are from smaller studios. They're not those massive AAA studios that we're really known for. I mean, Ghost of Yotai is from Sucker Punch. That's been around for ages. They've usually put out bangers after bangers. They're known for it. Donkey Kong is an OG. Like, it's been here since gaming has ever existed. But the other four are just, they're newer, fresher IPs, newer creative ideas, and this is pretty cool to see them here nominated for Game of the Year. But kick it to you, attorney. What's your thoughts on these six games here for Game of the Year?
Yeah, I think you're all right. We could probably sit here and talk about all these games individually, probably all freaking day. But they all made it here for a reason, and I think we all enjoy them. Although some may we have enjoyed for similar reasons, we enjoyed each of these individually for what they gave us within either the story or just what sometimes we may cynically think as fun. Um,
Yeah.
but I do believe that all these games are deserving it to be here. God, it was a rough game of the year. I'm not gonna lie, because similar to like what like Roger has said, a split fiction. God damn. Like that's one of those things that like I guess I could say for both Expedition and for Split Fiction and stuff like that. Those are two games in which you truly consider them an experience. And the best part about something like a Split Fiction is the fact that it's not an experience that you get to experience alone because you have to play co-op.
Mhm.
So that just adds more to just what the story already gives you. The fact that you just get to experience it with someone else. And maybe what they pull from it isn't what you pull from it, which kind of makes it even kind of cooler. Because you get
Mhm.
to just sit there and just, throw back and forth and everything. Oh, did you catch that? Like, oh, I don't really think that really meant that and everything. Whereas something like a story of a Ghost of Yote or Expedition is something that is more just an experience you experience by yourself, and you take away from it more than enough that you're like, this was well worth my time. And then obviously have like a Donkey Kong, which is just plain old fun. Just plug it in, play it, and everything, and just forget why you even booted up in the first place. But at least you're having fun doing it. So yeah, shout out to all these games.
And Roger, your thoughts on Game of the Year?
For me, like, there was one clear winner and one that came close. If it weren't for the fact that like either of these existed, I don't know what I would choose honestly for game of the year. Like, these were in a category all of their own, and it's not just about the game that did the best, but it's about the game that also gives you the best experience. So like Split Fiction, for example, may not be the best game, may have some faults here or there, but it's about the experience you had playing it, like the people you played it with. Like, I can still think about the days of old playing games like Halo 3. It wasn't about the campaign, it was about the multiplayer and the friends we played along with. Like, it's not about the journey, but the friends we made along the way, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And some of these games are that way. Like, if it weren't
For
for Claire,
like
like
Halo
Expedition
2,
33,
just to
yeah,
chime in real quick.
like,
Remember Halo 2 when we on Legendary we were trying to
yeah,
punch those crates into action so we could walk out because otherwise we were getting fucked up in Legendary. Like, that's a very fond memory that had nothing to do with the
it's
story.
the worst way to play the fucking game, but we had fun doing it. Like, it's the journey, not the destination. And like, some of these games are that way. Like, for Claire, Obscure Expedition 33, like, it was about like, what is the end? And it's that journey getting to the end. And like, when you got to the end, you were like, oh God, it's so much more than I thought, and I'm not
Yep.
at the end, and I'm excited for what the future holds, because it just left you sitting there going, whoa. And then Split Fiction for me was it was that journey. Like every time you're like, what is the next world gonna look like? Because this was fucking awesome.
Mhm.
Like, and every level was something new. And like, you get to the very end, and they're like, let's subvert what you think a game is. And at some point, the game just breaks the fourth wall, kicks it out, and goes, all right, bud, you're actually now playing on a game tablet. It's like they hand the second player a Switch 2 in the game, and first player is playing on the Switch 2 screen within the game, and you're like, this is just fucking mad, dude. Like, it's this, like, the fact that like you can take game design and you say, well, you would have never thought of this, and you're like, I would have fucking never thought of this, and said, yeah, we know, that's why we did it, it's cool. And like, and it's not just like they do something to do something, but they do something interesting, unique, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, just the theme around Hazelight's games are just so incredibly impactful and just much deeper than most people even think about in a way, and just how they tie that into a cooperative story, because every game that they put out is always a cooperative. Like even dating back to like his first games before it even became Hazelight was Brothers Tale of Two Sons. Like that was a fucking phenomenal game. Played the remake, and it's just like it's so crazy to see just the stories that are told, honestly. And it's just like the crazy thing is like to see that kind of story told in like a game like Blueprints. Like it's a game that you're really just you're walking, and then you open the door and you're like, all right, what room do you need to build here? And then like the story that you find out by the end of the game, you're just like your mind just fucking explodes, because you're just like, holy shit. Like that's so crazy. And then like just going back to Ghost of Yotai, like that was like your typical Kill Bill, like I'm on a revenge path, let me annihilate. But like the twists and the turns and the routes that you eventually go down, and like how it makes you feel based on, because like you don't really get to make a decision. This decision's part of the story. You're like, fuck, I didn't want to make that decision. Like that shit pisses you off, because like you felt some type of way about what really happened and how you would have handled it in real, if it was your decision and shit like that. And it's just like, man, like the emotions that it invokes from you, it's pretty dope. But yeah, man, this was a heck of a game of the year lineup. But
Facts.
I just feel like it was just clear and obvious, unfortunately, for all the other games, that there is one juggernaut that I've been saying all night long that has been sweeping the awards all night long. So none other than that, the game of the year for the 2025 Press Start Game Awards goes to Expedition 33. And it is really, really well deserved. Like when you hit every possible category and aspect of a game at the perfect like level, it's just insane. And the fact that you're a small studio, and shout out to Game Pass, because gave us opportunity. But I feel like this is a game that I may have bought. Like this game looked great, looked fucking phenomenal. I was like on the teeter, like, do I buy this game? And then it was just like, it's on Game Pass. And then because I was like, I want the physical copy. There's no physical copy. Oh fuck! And then they announced a physical copy, what's like a collector's edition. I was like, I'm buying it. Like I don't even care. Like it's that fucking
Yep.
good. Like I'm not even going to unpackage it. It's going to stay in that package. Um, and it's just like, man, this game was absolutely stunning. I've told Roger before, like this is probably the number one game, that the best game I have played in my entire life by far. Like it's that fucking good. Like it's better than Liza P, and I was so fucking high on that game. It blows Liza P out of the water. Like if Liza P was in this category for Game of the Year, it's not winning. It's just not. That's just my opinion. But yeah, man, I'll kick it to you, Attorney. What's your thoughts on the winner here?
Yeah, I think it was clear and obvious where this was going, but damn, like I just can't help but just continue going back to the story, the narrative. It's one of those games that when you actually figure, or when it's revealed to you everything that's behind the curtain. I don't know if you guys ever seen the show like The Magicians, but like when that as the show goes on and they start showing you more things, you're like, oh, that's a cool thing. Oh, that's a cool thing. Oh, that's a cool thing. Then they show you, eventually you get to a season where they introduce the plumbers, and you're like, what the fuck is a plumber? And the plumbers start doing what the fuck the plumbers do, and you're like, wait, that's a possibility. And like where that leads to what people start to do to be able to get certain things back. I'm trying to be as big as possible. Like it's like a oh shit, like you're really opening up the world to more things. What Expedition 33 has done is beyond what I think most studios are kind of capable of in the story aspect. Most studios are trying to be like, "Hey, we want to feed you a story that's going to be as easily digestible as possible, but also like still good, entertaining and fun." This game is like, "Hey, listen, trust me, as long as you just stay in this car for this ride, who gives a fuck if it's digestible? You're going to get through it, and I promise you, you'll enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, fuck it, you're still going to enjoy it." And the game just kind of hits you with just hard hitting things throughout the whole fucking thing. What happens to characters and everything and stuff, and how the story turns, boom, 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 boom. Like it it brings you back to a point of where games actually gave a shit about the story, and it's not just we're going to just Hollywood the fuck out of this. And it's just a good feeling just to know that people actually still care about stories. We're not going to just huge sets of, oh look, and now the plane's crashing, oh we gotta like jump out the plane. Like no, of course it's going to have its big moments, of course, with like huge things happen, but just the moment to moment gameplay aspects and just how the story progresses and everything and stuff. It's not a slow burn by any means, because it starts off with just bullshit. But at the same time, it doesn't rush itself. It lets the story tell itself, and it's a nice unfolding of how it happens. Um, Congratulations, goddamn, a fucking amazing experience.
I expect the Game Awards to go similarly. I think this is gonna win Game of the Year. It Expedition 33 to me was the best game I've played probably in a few years now. It 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 makes me happy to be able to play these fantasy games yet again and feel reinvigorated in the genre. I've been left hopeless and wanting with Final Fantasy for year after year after year, hoping that somebody will show them that, like, yes, your story still matters, your gameplay still matters. You just can't, like, yeah, you're gonna, just like Call of Duty, I'm a sucker, you're gonna still sell me Final Fantasy, but I'm still feeling like maybe I might not buy the next one now finally. But like Expedition 33 said, like, this is what you can do with a game. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I still have the mental image of the one real choice you get to make in the game burned into my mind. Like, I can still see that moment. It made me emotionally nauseous. Like, I felt sick trying to decide between the two choices, because I was like, this is fucking difficult. Like, a lot of these times, these games give you choices, and they don't really give you a good idea of what you're going to feel until they just make you feel like shit no matter what choice you choose. After you've chosen it, they're like, you're a fucking disaster. And I was like, thank you, Avowed. You're a disaster as well. Fuck this game. Like, every time I made a decision, everyone's like, that was the wrong decision. And you're like, fuck you, eat a shit. Go
Right.
fucking kill yourself, man. I don't care. I'm going to actually fucking end you next time I get the chance. Like, somebody was like, you're a terrible person. Why are you betraying me? It's like, oh my god, this whole game you've been antagonizing me. You're just gonna fucking die. Whereas like Expedition 33, like you're sitting there at the final decision, and like they don't, like, it doesn't matter what the end looks like, because that moment when they tell you what your decision is, like they give it to you straight up front, and they're like, I mean, which decision do you want? And you're like, both are terrible. And they're like, we
But
know.
which
And
one
you're
you
going to
want?
hate either decision, and you're going to want to know what both look like in the end, and you're going to be happy with neither. And you're like, you're right. How did you know? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, absolutely
and
phenomenal.
and like every second the game's like, okay, we're almost done, and you're like, oh cool, I'm in the epilogue, and they're like, just kidding, the epilogue's actually not the epilogue, it's just like chapter 3. Chapter 4 is chapter 4, and then there's another epilogue after that, and you're like, that's not how epilogues work, really. But like, they're like, you could stop the game here, and it's good for you, man, it's over, you're done, you did it, congratulations. And you're like, wait, did I? And they're like, no,
No, not at all.
No.
There's a lot of wee and woo. And shout out to fucking SK being the fucking superstar of the entire
My
game, you
favorite
know?
is SK just like he's there in camp and they're like, all right, bud. And they like punch him and he just starts vomiting wine. He's like, I'm sorry. They made me tell. I didn't want to. And you're like, sorry, bud.
Oh, man. What a game. What a year of games, honestly. And honestly, we have a lot to look forward to in 2026. And even then, that was hard to narrow it down to just 6 games that we have anticipation for. Um, and obviously, games could be delayed. Obviously, GTA 6 was supposed to come out this year. It didn't. It was on last year's game
It doesn't get to,
anticipation.
we don't vote on it again. They had their chance. They
Right.
fucked it up. They're done.
Yeah, we could make that a thing. Like if you delay your game out of that, then you're not going to be in there for most anticipated. But
You've lost my anticipation at this point.
right, like what anticipation? But yeah, man, 6 bangers. A lot of games from all studios, whether it be from PlayStation, Xbox. Xbox has 3 big ones here. There's 2 ones that are pretty big, just because there's multimedia involved as well. With like obviously The Witcher, Wolverine is pretty huge. GTA 6 is going to be the biggest thing ever in entertainment history. So this was a really interesting list, and it comes down to really just personal like feeling, you know.
This is the one that I had the most difficult decision choosing between two. I sat there and went, no, yes, no. I wrote my initials twice, like went up, down, down. Nah, you okay?
It's like, which one am I really?
This was definitely good. This made me go play a proper pooper just to like try to figure out. Like I was because at first I was really stuck with like 3 games, and because I was like, I mean I'll play it when it comes out, but I don't know if like I'm like anticipating the fuck out this game. Then I look at another one and I'm like, yeah, I've been waiting for you long enough. And then I would look at another one, I'm like, I guess I might, or not. Then the last 3, I'm just like, yeah, I got it really. And then I narrowed it down to 2. And then I was like, I can't really fucking decide. Like, this was definitely was difficult trying to fucking choose between which game to pick.
And it's probably because like a lot of these franchises have been a part of our lives forever. If you honestly want to think about it, like GTA has been on every PlayStation. Halo has been the reason why I even bought an Xbox. Like Gears of War, same thing. Like Fable's been around since forever. Witcher has been around for a long time now too. And Wolverine it's Wolverine. Like who the fuck don't like Wolverine, honestly? Like
I mean, it's the spiritual successor to Spider-Man.
yeah, more or less. So it's just like man, like there's all of these games touch us in different ways, and it's just like which one are we the most anticipated for? So the most anticipated award goes to none other than Fable. We got Fable out of Playground Games is our most anticipated, which, you know, I've never played any of the Fable games. This will be a chance that I finally get to, and I get to play it from a studio who I absolutely love because they've never missed with their Forza Horizon series. I'm just curious to see how translating from a racing game goes into making an RPG game. That's going to be the biggest concern. Not really worried about the engine and how they're able to use their engine. That's not going to be the problem. It's going to be how they do an RPG with a classic title of Fable. But Inhuman or Eternity, my bad. What's your thoughts on Fable winning most anticipated, and what do you expect from it?
I'm excited for this fucking game, man. Like, bro, I've been with Fable since the OG Xbox. Like, come on, man. Like, it's one of those series where it's like, all right, if you don't play D&D, like this game is like a, hey, D&D. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, you got the guild and everything stuff, cool, cool, whatever is with it. But like when I think of like me actually like playing an RPG game, a role that I can play, a game that like what I do actually affects shit. back then, like there really wasn't many games that what you did actually can fuck up an outcome of stuff.
Hmm.
And like games like a Fable or a Knights of the Old Republic, where
Hmm.
games were like what you do really does fuck up other stuff. And mind you, again, we're talking about OG Xbox PS2 era of games. Um, so fast forward to now, we have a studio in which, hey, all we do is make racing games. And it's like, oh, we're gonna try and make an RPG out of this racing, but you gotta remember how sick and sadistic the studio is. This is take you back to the Xbox One days and everything, where everybody was like, oh, the Xbox One, we're gonna scrutinize everything it's able to do. It can't run 4K 60 FPS, it can't do this, it can't do that. This is a studio that literally said, no, 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 please test us. We're gonna run this perfectly, and it's not gonna budge, not even one frame. Like these guys are fucked in the head by all means, in which they like to like
I love
test
the
and create.
challenge.
Oh yeah. So now, like I said last time, in which like, hey, this area you can't reach it with your car unless the lake is frozen over. Imagine that BS in a Fable game, in which there is possibly a whole area in which you can't even get to until the season's right, in which the water recedes just enough, and it just lowers down just enough, and where a cave ever so slightly shows itself. And now you can swim in that cave and you can get out, but you can't go in there any other time of the year because the water's too high and you'll just drown. And like the possibilities of what they're able to do, and just take a racing car engine and say, "Fuck it, we're gonna make a RPG game." The only thing that I can hope is that they at least try to keep up with, or try to stay with the quirky comedy that they used to do,
It seems like it,
which
especially with
so
the
far,
trailers.
yeah, from what they've shown so far, it looks like it is. But again, we've only just had such a small sliver of what they've shown, so I don't know what the full game will be able to show us and everything. But again, animations look amazing and stuff like that. We could do the magic, all this other shit. So I'm praying this is the game. Like I'm praying this is the one that's gonna lock me in for a while. Like I haven't been sucked into a game like that. This is all I want to do. Or at least an RPG game in a very, very long freaking time. So I'm
Outside of
praying this is
Expedition 33.
yes, yes.
So, what was the other game that you were struggling to choose between Fable and The Witcher? Maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Witcher
had
was
a
the other one.
feeling. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a feeling that, which
It,
is crazy. I've never played a Witcher game either, which isn't mind-boggling. But here we are.
Witcher 3 was to me was really a tough sell. I can't count how many times I've literally installed it, booted the game up, and be like, "Yeah, nah, I'm okay. Just uninstall the fucking game." Like,
That's fair. What and Roger, what's your thoughts on Fable?
um, I want to stay optimistic. I wasn't a big fan of Fable 3 after a while. Like it didn't hit as well as some of the other Fable games, but I played the crap out of it nonetheless. And it's truly one of those games where it's just like it's just like your Elder Scrolls games. It's just like it has a lot of depth, but it cares about these little microcosms in the world. It wants you to do silly things. Like, for example, in Fable 3, they had an entire system built around buying every property you fucking wanted to in the game, sell it to whoever you want, start an orphanage if you fucking wanted to, like, and like it was like, oh, you want to start a family, go ahead. You want to sleep around, go ahead. My character ended up with a lot of STDs. I was a kid in high school. I was like, I wonder how far I can take this. And the game's like, you're fucked.
And if
My
I'm not
character's like
mistaken, like
300 pounds and like 7 STDs, and he's doing his thing.
so in Fable there was also like the morale system, right? Like the good versus evil and stuff like that, based on like your decision making. Like that's going to be one of the key points that I hope that they can nail down really well, because like when games have that, it makes your decisions matter a lot more. Like I really thought like in Star Wars Outlaws, like that, I know that idea got completely scrapped, and if that game would have had that, it would have made that game 1,000 times better. But it's really going to come down to executing that. I think is going to go a long way. But yeah, guys, any last comments or remarks on most anticipated game with Fable?
don't let us down, man. Just don't. And also, don't misuse any funds you get, man. RIP Scalebound. Jesus Christ. Just actually release, please release the game. Um, yeah, no, man. Shout out to y'all, man. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. And with that, that is a wrap up of our 2025 Press Start Game Awards. This is the third annual show, and we'll be back next year. But any last comments or remarks from this year's show at all?
No, I'm
Thank you.
excited to see who wins this year.
Hell yeah. And yeah, reminder, be sure to check us out Thursday. We will be covering the official Game Awards live. They do begin at 7, so we'll probably be live around like 6:45ish for the pre-show, maybe get some thoughts, some insights on what we may see at the Game Awards, because obviously it's about the awards, but we see a lot of game announcements around that as well. But yeah, Roger, where can the community find you at?
Discord and on the Press Start podcast.
And what about you, Eternity?
Currently on Twitter X, you can still find me at Inhuman Line. That's INHUMANLINE. Currently, everything will start continuing with the rebrand with Eternity. You can find me here on Twitch at Eternity_NPC, on YouTube at Eternity_NPC, and that will be the branding going forward. Till then, catch y'all next time.
And everyone can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never _. Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, if you want to come on the show. And if you want a game, hit me up on Xbox at xneverspacechillin. PlayStation is VBrew24. And on my Twitch is twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin. But we do want to thank everyone again. And until Thursday, peace.
Press Start Podcast.